Welcome to another episode of 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons Tomb of Annihilation, where we're all going to die. Okay, so, yes, my mute is off. Okay, good. So, let's do introductions, and then we'll go into the recap of where we left off, so that we can get this TPK over and done with.
Wow. That's reassuring.
I have a high confidence level in our party. So let's start with the most important member of our adventuring group, Kashcah, the DM.
Yeah, I hate it when you do that.
Down in the bottom corner.
Oh, I have my assistant here as well.
Yes, her assistant, Dungeon Master Assistant, Zoe Pug Extraordinaire. Occasionally doing pug dances and chomps. She chomping you. She started chomping you. All right, straight up from her are two of the NPCs in this campaign that we are currently searching for and unlikely to find. But next to them is Rorax playing Aelia, the Centaur Cleric, who will not be available this evening. And next to her we have Nerevar.
That's me. I'll be playing as Tobias Salazar, a Spacial summoner who is commanding his idol on Arokh Ironscale.
Indeed. And you can check out his streams on Twitch, NerevarDZN. Go sub now. Okay, and next to Nerevar, we've got...
I hate when you do this.
Next to Nerevar, we have Kellisto.
I am Kellisto of the Bear Guide Clan, and I'm a half-elf druid.
You hesitated.
I did, yes.
Might be coming back around again. All right. And, yeah, she's pretty much been the shape-shifter of the party, and a much better scout than Ulfgar ever hoped he could be. Then, next to her, we've got Lyssa.
I am... Okay, I had to pull my character sheet up to make sure.
Mama!
Multiple campaigns.
Multiple campaigns. I am playing Valia Bonesmasher. I am a Lizardfolk Barbarian and was at one point a T-Rex last campaign. Or last, will I be a T-Rex and eat everybody?
You don't need to be a T-Rex to eat everybody.
True, but it was so much better being a T-Rex and mighty and eating everybody. I was just trying to see if I could throw them back up as zombies, but...
It does make it a lot easier, though. And she'll be without camera today, but next to Lyssa, we've got myself and Vallen. I will be playing Ulfgar Holderheck, a Dwarven Bard Sorcerer. Yeah. Giant frog will do the trick. Yes. So to catch us up with kind of the message, where the trouble that we're in right now, we were in the city of Omu exploring, looking for the two NPCs in the top right corner over there, and we ended up not finding them, but we did find several puzzle pieces, and we're told in so many different clues and peoples that we met that we needed these puzzle pieces to proceed through the Yuan-Ti lair to defeat the necromancer Raznasi, who is the leader of such a group. And we proceeded to obtain all the puzzle cubes and work our way down into the Yuan-Ti lair through the back entrance, of which we had no intel, no plan, and only hopes and prayers, which got us actually a little further than we thought. And then we ended up trying to be stealthy and still setting off an alarm because we ended up going into a very large room. Just couldn't quite pull off the sneakiest of sneakies. But we got darn close, I gotta say. I think we did pretty good there. Anyway, things went awry. Lots of sound was made. Lots of alarms were set off. And most of the people in this underground city... Not this underground little town, but this underground city. A large portion of them, at least, were made aware of our presence. And then everybody came. We got trapped. And we started fighting our way out. And to quite a decent start, things started getting dire. And then Valia was turned into a Tyrannosaurus Rex through the new spell slot Ulfgar used, helping to tide the battle at the north end of the map, and giving the rest of the team the chance to deal with those attacking from the rear. And therefore, we're able to kind of clean them up, but yet we just kind of left off there because it was a huge battle. I believe we left off with slaughtering a good portion of the zombies. There was one left, still stuck in a web, being maintained in a concentration spell by Tobias. Meanwhile, what was it? Yeah, a certain NPC in our party. Kashcah, help me with the name. Zagmira. Thank you. That was excellent timing. Zagmira was, in fact, turned to stone by basilisks among the Yuan-Ti. And among other party members, though they were saved through the magic charm that Ulfgar happened to have on him that was gifted to them from the Oracle. But Tobias and Kellisto were able to proceed forward and finish cleaning up a lot of the mess, as well as the T-Rex started running down here, only to find that there were more reinforcements on top of the reinforcements we already took care of, proceeding to come in. As well as we were chasing a panicked dinosaur that we were trying to recruit to our side. But it being chased by a T-Rex yelling, "I want to be your friend," in T-Rex talk comes out as, "I'm going to eat you." So that didn't go so well. But I think that's where we left off, Kashcah.
Yeah,
Something
about
like
right.
That. Something like that. Yeah. And this is just a placeholder for Valia on the map.
Did you
right
mention... You did mention these two guys, right? Suddenly kind of appearing.
Yeah, the reinforcements that arrived after the reinforcements.
Okay, just checking.
So as I don't recall us actually having an order anymore. I don't know what you wanted to go with. So
yeah, no worries.
Have at it.
Well, let's start with the first most important thing. That con save means that Valia, you well, maybe not most important, but first thing that happens is Valia, you suddenly kind of shrink back down, except for your arms. Your arms probably grow a little bit longer. You become your usual Lizardfolk self again. So you do have kind of, so what we're going to do is...
Do you mind if I explain that?
Oh, no, go ahead.
This being the first time I cast this spell, it's called Polymorph. And the Polymorph spell, as I thought, was not a concentration spell and had a duration of an hour. I was incorrect. And I told Kashcah about this. It did require concentration, which means if I take damage, I have a chance of losing the spell and it canceling out. And I had taken several hits, at least one or two hits during it, so I rolled a Constitution save, as concentration is a Constitution save, and I rolled a natural one. So therefore, Ulfgar was not able to maintain the spell. Kashcah was gracious enough to not rewind time and just allow it to proceed as is at this moment.
Yeah, so, but what that means for Valia is that you are back to your normal Lizardfolk body.
A small T-Rex.
Yeah.
With longer arms.
Compact T-Rex. So, let's... Oh.
I'm just waiting for Kashcah to be like, "Oh, we'll just put this T-Rex in the next room because I'll need it there."
I'm just going to actually put that T-Rex there. Okay. So you're back to your normal self. So that's the first thing that happens.
I just burst in the room going, "Rah!"
Your stride kind of seems to get shorter and shorter as you're running through, and suddenly you're your normal self again.
That's a cool visual.
Then the next thing...
Yeah, I just mutter a 4-letter word that nobody can hear but me, and then Triceratops.
Dino. Rats.
And the Triceratops does kind of like look at you like with its head tilted a little bit, like, what's going on? we're a T-Rex now. And it does seem to kind of calm down a bit. Previously it was like, butting its head and its Triceratops horns against the iron portcullis that is in place there. Now it kind of like, what? And like turns it, anyway, looks at you a little quizzically. Then I would like Ulfgar to make a perception check.
Okay. It's what he does.
Maybe.
Well, I don't whether he succeeds or not. I don't know, but it's what he does.
All right. You notice oh, hang on. Let me get a token. Copy.
You'll have to let me know.
T-Rex.
Oh, there it
out
is.
of nowhere.
Oh.
So you notice. Actually, well, you know what? No, screw that. I'm not gonna use that. I'm just gonna use this. Okay. Which, let me see what that looks like, actually.
That looks like some kind of weird cyclopsy person.
Okay. Yeah, so I will describe this to you. It is a handsome Chultan man. And with your 19, you also hear him. He kind of like, out of the corner of your eye, you see him kind of rush around the corner here, up to the pile of dead zombies and webs. And you hear him say, you hear him gasp. And then with your 19, you do catch him say, under his breath, Zakmira.
Okay.
So that guy rushes around the corner and does that. Yeah, I think, actually, if I could just get like a check on everybody now that those two things have taken place, on what you intend to do as your next action, then I can kind of decide if we need to go back into turn order or not.
For all those folks down south.
Just for everybody, actually. So for yourself, for Tobias. Where is Arokh as well? And
I think Tobias and Arokh.
Tobias, yeah, okay. Yeah. So you're sitting.
Oh no, I saw that number. Oh dear.
So
I was originally running after Valia.
Yeah.
So I'd probably continue running after Valia.
Okay. And Valia, what about you? What are you going to do now you're your normal self again?
I'm going to try to talk to that dinosaur and be like, help me, please. Please help. I'll give you lots of leafy greens. I don't know what you eat.
Okay. Alright, so your intention, try and recruit the Triceratops.
Yeah, because I'm assuming I see those two guys hanging out in the hallway.
You definitely do.
They're probably like, what just happened?
Okay.
Hopefully they're stunned enough for me to attack them by surprise.
And Tobias and Arokh, how about you guys?
Probably going to fetch Valia.
Okay. And then Ulfgar.
Well, there's still a zombie there in the webbing, so he would probably shoot another firebolt at that zombie, hoping to kill it or set it on fire and kill it, or both.
Okay.
As well as if he sees a handsome Chultan man come around the corner and exclaim, Zakmira, under his breath. Ulfgar would try to sense motive, I guess, whether the guy might be friendly.
Okay. All right. Then.
I mean, Ulfgar's fairly wise, but he's not very intelligent.
Let's do turn order again. I'm a little reluctant, but and I'm going to put Aelia in there as well. Bum, 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 bum. Okay.
Bum, 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 bum. Mr. Yuanti, hiss me a song.
I got a 14 and Flippy got the 9.
I moved my thing so that I could turn into the wolf, and now I don't know what I did. I put it in the black part.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I found it.
Oh, yeah, okay. Here, I will put it
I had to, like, highlight a lot of it.
There we go.
You've just been randomly clicking and dragging.
Yeah, pretty much.
Then these guys. Boop. those guys around the corner. This guy. Hang on, let me look at his initiative. +1, okay. Actually, I'm gonna do him. I'm gonna use oh no, I can't do that. I need a pure blood sheet. 1 second. Sorry. I don't want to click on him directly because he has secrets.
Should I roll that insight check or no?
Sure. And Valia, if you want to roll a persuasion check for you trying to convince the Triceratops that you guys are buddies.
Can I use my luck? No, I don't think I can.
On a skill check?
No, I cannot, no.
Okay.
Just attack ability or saving.
Okay. Right, is that everybody? I feel like I'm... Oh, no, we're missing Tobias and Arokh.
And Zagmira, of course. Zombie still alive?
He's gonna go on the Malison's turn.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, I think that's everybody. Let's do that. Okay, so... Oh, your insight check. So are you trying to get an idea of, like, their...
If I think he's potentially friendly, or if I think he might be one of the purebloods?
You see recognition on his face of... and you hear recognition of Zagmira. So you think, yeah, he's potentially friendly.
I guess Ulfgar would probably call towards the guy, since he heard Zagmira. He didn't hear any other words, just Zagmira. Doesn't even know if the guy speaks common. But, I guess he would say, oh, that's right, Zagmira said that there was, a spy. So, I guess there's a potential for this to be the spy that Zagmira had. Ulfgar would say, "Watch out, there's more coming!" And he shoots the firebolt at that time. So, but that's not going to be for a while because he's down.
Are you saying that to the guy that just appeared?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But he's not going to do that till his turn.
His turn, so. The firebolt till his turn. Okay, so that's your insight. The persuasion, the Triceratops seems really confused at this moment. Okay, so I think we'll resolve the Triceratops on the same turn as the Malison. So Arokh and Tobias, who conveniently have initiative next to each other for once. Take it away.
Can you fix my initiative?
Oh, sorry, did I... Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I have 14.
I probably have seen Valia shrink into her normal size, right?
Be difficult to not notice.
Yes.
The terror-inducing roar turned into her actually going roar.
True. So we how far is this? 45 feet. Yeah, that probably would use my entire action. If you allow us to run up to Valia, grab her, and go back.
You can certainly try.
The way I'm picturing it is like Arokh will go. Just you can treat as me and Arokh. We will be doing this in the same turn. So not Arokh will be grabbing Valia, but Tobias.
Okay.
Here's the thing, though. Valia gets to go before Tobias.
Yeah, Valia's initiative was out of order. Here, let me redo. There we go. So you guys are kind of gonna. For a moment, your initiative was together, and then.
Then Valia split the party.
The party of two.
Okay, then so Arokh will go up to Valia then.
Okay. All right.
And he's going to say, "Get on!"
Okay. Valia. It's well, your turn. Oh, I mean, that's what Arokh's doing, right? Is he doing anything else, or?
Actually, no, because that was 45 feet.
Oh, okay.
It will be it's his entire action.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
I'm gonna run in right in front of the doorway, try to block them from getting in, and I'm going to rage as my bonus in it.
Okay. Oh. Yep, that's a critical hit. Okay.
Oof.
Oof, indeed.
That's pretty good.
That also hits.
That's pretty good.
Okay, that's all I got.
Okay, and here, let me show you what you see down the corridor here.
Five more of them.
Yeah.
Twice as big and all with snake hands. Oh, wish granted, sir.
Yeah. I'm just gonna yell, Rock, get behind me and I'll duck. Hope it, like, not knowing if he still has his, like, breath thing or not. Just like,
I think you can drop to prone as a free action. It's getting up that uses up half your movement.
yeah.
Okay.
For now, I'll stay again.
Okay. Tobias.
I'm just going to curse the law as I could.
Why do I feel like I'm watching 300 all of a sudden?
Maybe because there's 300 UNT down here just lining up.
Yep. We're trying to plug the gap.
What I have no idea what I'm supposed to do.
I like Stress Muffin's suggestion.
A wall of flesh. Is that it?
Stuff the dead bodies into the entrance.
oh god.
You do see, by the way, that these guys, by the way, Valia, have longbows. Just FYI.
Yay, me.
Longbows, you say?
Longbows.
Suddenly Tobias gets an idea.
Well,
Bing!
I don't know that Tobias can see that yet, so...
I will use my longbow on Valia. Yes, it is a good choice.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cast Maximilian's Earthen Grasp
okay.
on this U1 right here. So I'm going to create a clay hand of 5 feet cube. So right there, and I'm going to hold this one in place if he managed to do a strength save.
Okay. This guy in front, he's got snakes for hands, by the way. Just so you know which version you're dealing with. And he's got a terrible strength save. So yeah, he fails that and is bound.
He's no restraint.
Yep. Where is that? There we go. That'll do. Okay. Do you want to do any movement, or are you sticking with Arokh?
I probably will stick with Arokh.
Okay.
It's like full definition.
Thank you. Medium hang. I'll save the. Okay. And he takes 8 bludgeoning damage.
Oh god. Oh, I can't see what I'm drawing while I'm drawing it.
Hang on, I gotta get rid of this square. Sorry, it was getting in the way of me clicking on that. Okay. Alright, so he's gonna try and break out. He wants to break free. So he's gonna try and break out. Where is he? Here he is. So he's gonna do strength. Oh, and I think he does break out, doesn't he?
Ooh.
Yep, so he...
Barely.
Yeah. So he breaks out of that. And that's probably his action as well.
It's those snake hands. Makes them slippery.
Yep. These guys, however, back here, draw their longbows and take aim at Valia. Bing. Wait, hang on. 2 ranged attacks. Okay, so that's the first guy. And then the second guy does the same thing. Boop. Boop. Okay. And then we're also gonna have the zombie go, and then another thing. Oh, come on.
Kashcah, before you go, just go wild. What about this dinosaur right here?
Yeah.
Isn't he getting a turn order?
Yeah. Then, I'm gonna resolve like the easy stuff first, and then we'll get to the the more complicated stuff.
What do you mean easy?
That guy cannot reach. This guy here cannot reach. Okay. And this guy is going to kind of run up past his friends here as well. So this dinosaur, he is going to, he kind of turns and he's going to make a run for it back down the hole. He's kind of like, oh no, my masters are here. So he's running back down this hole, being unconvinced by Valia's efforts to persuade him to stay. And then Kellisto, well, make a perception check, Kellisto, if you don't mind. Please. So this dinosaur falls over and dies. No, does not fall over. Out of shock. Okay, you see Yuan-Ti run up here, and this thing here is a big gong.
Jesus.
And he quickly takes the hammer, the gong hammer, off the stand and strikes the gong twice in succession.
That can't be good.
Mm-mm.
Welcome to the
So if it's twice for intruders, is it 3 times for go to sleep? 1 time for throw down your weapons? I mean...
Okay. So that's all of their turns, I think, for now. Yep, okay. Then, this guy down here.
Down where?
Sorry, this guy down here.
Okay.
The guy who you're not sure if he's friend or foe. He steps forward, and starts burning he's gonna light a torch and start burning the webbing away.
Okay.
And he calls to you, Ulfgar, and says, "Come with me if you want to live." Sorry, I couldn't resist. I just couldn't resist. So he says, "Come with me if you want to live."
Okay.
And okay.
Ulfgar would shout down the hallway, just real quick. Fall back to me! Fall back! There you go.
All right. Shout down which hallway? Sorry, there's a few hallways here. Who are you shouting
He's
towards?
shouting towards Valia.
Okay. All right. Callisto. You hear
Oh,
Ulfgar.
I'm heading towards that guy.
Oh, yeah? Oh, shit. Okay.
1 second while I switch again.
All right. Oh, sorry, that's right. You don't
There we
have. There you go. And
I am attacking.
here, let me show you what you see. Oh, hang on 1 second. Okay, roll your attack, and I will unveil the rest of the room.
Do you remember what it was? Roll 1d20 and then the 2d6 plus 3 for the.
I thought it didn't. Hang on. Let me look at Direwolf again. Direwolf.
Yeah, I think that does.
It doesn't have any bonus to the attack.
Only if there's somebody. It says melee weapon attack plus 5 to hit, reach 5 feet, 1 target, hit 10, 2d6 plus 3 piercing damage. If the target is a creature, it must succeed on a DC 13 strength saving throw or be knocked prone.
Okay, so you roll 1d20 plus 5 to try and hit. So yeah, you definitely hit him. And then roll your damage. And this guy is a type 3, which he is. So he has a human head and upper body and a serpentine lower body. So he's got a snake, doesn't have legs basically. He has like a, that kind of snaky lower body. Oh, whoops, except that didn't work. Let me try that again. Boop.
Oh.
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 Boop.
Oh, that's just a railing. Oh, God.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
You say that now.
Well, it looks cool. Okay, how's that?
Until I do this.
Oh, that's not cool.
Less than cool.
And then last bit. Boop.
What do you mean boop? I didn't see no boop. Oh, that boop. Okay.
Okay, so this is what you see. Let me describe it to you as well. So this is an underground cathedral opens before you. At one end, a sculptured balcony perches atop 5 rearing stone serpents. Blood is dribbling from the serpent's jaws blood dribbling from the serpent's jaws falls into a semicircular basin, and from there flows along a sloped trough into a wide stone bowl set in the floor. South of the bowl is a mezzanine, prominently situated atop which is a cauldron of steaming broth, and then where you are, obviously, the huge gong. So, yay! This is so this is the kind of steaming cauldron right here.
Is it possible for druids to turn into dire mongoose?
And it smells distinctly, especially with your wolfy nose, distinctly of blood and flesh in this room. So it's got a very kind of iron, that kind of iron metallic blood-like smell is just throughout this room. It does also have that green glow to it as well, to the point where the blood almost looks purple because it's kind of got that green light over it. So, and you see these dudes all rushing kind of towards you. There is a set of double doors up here, and a portcullis here, and an opening obviously over here.
Mm-hmm.
Split the party 3 ways. This is not good.
So he took 10 damage. Thank you.
That's all I have on my turn.
Okay. Alright, Ulfgar.
Yeah. Ulfgar doesn't know bupkis about what the heck's going on in other places short of a Tyrannosaurus disappeared. He knows he's no longer maintaining the spell, and a Triceratops comes back from the opposite direction. That's about all he can see down there. He heard probably some gongs with his passive perception being pretty good. And he still proceeds to shout the same thing again. And then uses a firebolt on that same zombie.
Okay.
Right there. So.
Okie doke.
Firebolt, go! Will it work? It doesn't work. Okay, I gotta roll. I still gotta fix that. Sorry. I will look into fixing that during the stream. +7, so. +7. Hui.
That's very interesting there.
So 10. Does that hit the zombie?
Well, he is restrained, so I say yes.
You're right.
Actually,
it's at advantage. You're right.
This is a zombie, right? They have shit for armor class, so yes.
You don't want me to roll advantage, or
no? Because it beat his AC anyway.
All right, so he takes 5 fire damage. The webs are on fire, and at the beginning of his turn, he takes 2d4.
Okay. All right, so he's looking halfway crispy, because I think he'd already taken a little fire damage previously.
Do you want me to roll that fire right now, or because it'll be at the beginning of his turn?
Wait, where is his turn? Sure. Yep. It's not like he's gonna break free before then and now.
There you go.
Oh dear. Okay, got it.
That went poorly.
Yeah, he's still got webs on either side of him.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to do?
Ulfgar would say, Aelia, do you think you can... actually, no, he would walk up over here.
Mm-hmm.
I know what's going to happen. He doesn't know what's going to happen. And he would take out the locket again. And I don't know that he's got enough action left to actually try and use it on the guy, on Zegmira. It's an action to shoot. Yeah. And then he moved, and he'd have a bonus action, but I mean, he's...
Yeah, I think you could use your bonus action to try and use it.
All right, so he'd pull the locket out, realizing that it looked diminished, and in hopes that it would still work, he tries holding it up against Zegmira like he's done with others.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and you discover that absolutely nothing happens.
Ulfgar's eyes get really big, and he shouts, "We've got a problem!"
Okay.
Fall back!
Aelia sees you do this, and I think has seen you do this and been on the receiving end of you doing this before, actually.
They probably like do an eye look at each other as well.
Yeah, so she kind of, her eyes get pretty wide as she looks at you, and she says, well, she said she's going to try and finish the zombie. That's what she's going to try and do.
Okay.
La 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 la. So she's going to try and Sacred Flame. Oh, you know what? She can use, she can do Turn Undead.
For one?
Maybe she would Sacred Flame. You're right. Okay,
It's
so
good.
zombie, does he even get a dex save? Because he's like, I think he disadvantage at least.
Yep.
So let me grab the zombie.
Hey.
Cat attack.
Meow.
So zombie dex fails and he turns to dust.
Poof.
Basically. He is destroyed.
Another one turns to dust.
Okay, so that's Aelia's turn. Alright, then, group at the top. Arokh. What's Arokh doing?
Arokh, hearing Ulfgar call to fall back, looks at Tobias. Tobias looks at Arokh. Looks at Valia.
Uh-oh.
We are going to regret this. He goes up to Valia. Valia. Right. Like this, and he's going to grab her into the mouth.
Okay.
For a moment, is this where he shouts "For the Yuan-Ti" and just kills her in hopes that they accept him?
Okay, so you're trying to grapple. Well, maybe grapple, depending on if Valia is a willing subject or not. And I kind of, that's up for you to decide, Lyssa. So is Valia going to be willingly picked up?
Did I hear him yell? Did I hear Ulfgar yell?
Yes, I think so.
Ulfgar's a pretty loud dude. He's got magic based on it.
I guess I look down the hall and I'm like, okay, I'm pretty injured, so I might as well just let him pick me up. I'm like, you better hurry, because if they kill me, I'm coming back for you.
Okay.
So then climb. Okay, so you are going to climb, or I have to help you with this?
No, I can't. If he's gonna grab me with his mouth, I'm not gonna resist.
Okay.
Yeah, but probably he will not be able to go fast with you in his mouth.
I agree.
I mean, if I can, I can climb on him. I'm pretty sure.
So what you could do, right? If we want to kind of like RP this a little bit as well, because you are kind of raged at the moment as well, right? So
Rage riding.
So you kind of it takes a moment, right, for Arokh to kind of convince you that this is the right decision, especially because you're raged. and then if you want to, during your turn, you could use your action to kind of disengage and climb on, Arokh's back. And as this is kind of happening simultaneously, the three of you could kind of... It's very convenient that your turn order is right there. So if the three of you want to move away together, I will allow. I'll let you do that. Okay, so how far is Arokh gonna be able to move away? And where are you moving to?
Okay, as I move from this down as far as possible.
Okay.
To this point.
Okay. So you kind of swing up onto Arokh's back, and the two of you, and Arokh gives a great effort to kind of leap into the air and take off with you both, and it's a fairly significant struggle for him, even though he is he's riding with the both of you. So you
make a strength save or strength check.
I think he's able to handle it. Right, it's just a struggle for him. But you do kind of swoop over the top of the Triceratops, and the Triceratops kind of freaks out once more, as being flown over by this. Seriously, he's going to have some serious issues going on.
Must talk to Dino Shrink.
So yeah, you're able. That's kind of where you're at right now, and you are in the air. As you're flying by, you do kind of see Kellisto is engaged with this Malison, over here. So, okay. So then I'm gonna skip forward now that the three of you have kind of moved. Tobias, unless you want to try and do anything while Arokh is flying through the air, or if Valia wants to try and do anything. Though you did use your action. You'd have a bonus action left, Valia, if you wanted to try and do anything in transit, so to speak.
I'm going to try to throw a javelin. One of my crappy javelin.
Okay. Who are you going to throw it at?
Actually, while we're going to fly, Tobias is going to cast Cure Wounds on Arokh.
Okay. Sounds good.
On second level, and that will be last spell slot for me for second level spell.
Okay. Okay, so
just why?
Make an attack roll for your javelin, Valia.
Hey, with advantage.
Do you have any kind of actually, can you do that at a disadvantage? Because I don't think you have, or unless you have some kind of mounted combat thing.
That is disadvantage.
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was gonna take the disadvantage because of where I was.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Thank you. Yeah. So that does hit actually. So.
The stakes are even.
Okay.
Holy crap!
Jesus.
The one time I actually hit him.
You'd use the crappy javelin
Every
more
time I've
often.
thrown my javelin, I have not hit anybody.
Alright, so Kellisto, this javelin whistles through the air over just past your ears, big wolf ears, past your ears, and strikes the Malison squarely in the chest, and he is not looking too happy about that. Okay, so let's resolve the dino first, because dino the Triceratops rears up as much as it can, right? Being a big old Triceratops, and being freaked out by the thing that is now over here in the direction that it was running, now runs back this way. Okay. So, and these folks, kind of start trying to move out and around, but are struggling with the Triceratops a bit. So it's kind of giving you.
They have a dead body to get over to. Oh no, he didn't die. Never mind. I forgot. He was almost dead. Not.
So let's get rid of that. Okay. So they're kind of struggling to get round this panicked Triceratops while they're exiting this area here. And let's see, who else have we got? So now these guys start pouring up here, basically. Oop. He's going to come around here. He's going to try and get there. The guys that are kind of behind the gong are actually, these guys are going to use all their movement to just pile in there. So the guys that are behind the gong aren't really going to be able to do. They're going to try and reach through, maybe, but
quick question:
attack through. Yes.
Did Kellisto's attack trip that snake man?
Oh, that's a good point. Okay.
She hit and caused damage.
That is a very good point. Hang on, let me go back and look at that. Thank you for catching that. So much going on.
Well, I don't know if it works or not. I don't know how it works, but I thought I would mention it.
I appreciate it. I thought I had the direwolf thing open. There it is. There it is. So he gets.
So is this where we
DC 13.
where we do the Scooby-Doo thing down a hallway where we all run in and out of different doors, chasing them, they're chasing us, we're chasing each other, back and forth until...
Oh, so he is prone.
He is prone.
Nice.
Yep.
Which means he's at a disadvantage to attack while in that, if he stays that way.
Well, he is going to probably stand back up.
So
first.
That's half his movement.
Yeah, so he can't move very far, but he can still attack. And he is... So he got the lowest... So he's going to try and... he has a scimitar that he gets 2 attacks with. So he's going to do 1 attack, 2 attacks.
3 attacks, 4 attacks. 5,
so that's that guy.
Oof.
Then... his friend, come on, I'm trying to shrink this. His friend over here, this guy is he's the same type as well, lower snake body. He grabs his scimitar as well and does 2, 1.
I'm not envious of you trying to keep track of the type.
Then this guy, yeah, he doesn't really have reach. So the 2 guys behind the gong are just out of reach at the moment. Okay, so that's it for those guys at the moment.
I got 3 out of the 4 attacks.
Okay, so 3...
Oh wait, I'm sorry, which one is the one who is doing it disadvantage?
He stood up.
Neither, because he stood up first.
Oh, okay.
He just can't move as far now. You've just kind of like slowed his movement.
Yes, then I got 3 out of the 4.
Okay. Alright. Okay, doke. I think that's it for the UNT. Okay, yes, that's it. Then this guy down here is kind of slowly making his way through, like burning the webbing away. So, he's
seeing this, Ulfgar would yell to
he's trying to kind of clear a path.
He would yell to Tobias, which obviously Tobias is AFK at the moment. But he'd yell to Tobias, "Drop the web spell over here and use it to stop those following us. Let's go!"
Okay. Alright. Kellisto.
Well, I'm gonna disengage.
Okay. Alright. And then... are you moving? Or?
Yes, if I can, yes.
Yep, you definitely can. Where would you like to move to?
So I can move 50 feet, so...
Wow. That's like me doing a double move. That's impressive.
So you can make it down here, probably?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, doke.
If you touch Q, then it'll keep a reminder spot, if that helps, while you're measuring that.
That should be good.
Okay.
I'm running away.
Alright. Okay, and Ulfgar?
Ulfgar looks at Aelia and says, "It's not working. We gotta get out of here. Do you think you can carry Zagmira?" And he looks kind of desperate at this point. Talking to Aelia.
She will say, her eyes get really wide, and she just kind of shakes her head like...
Right. He says, "Well then, I'll have to wait for the stronger party members to come, and perhaps we can drag her along or something. I'll try and distract them." And with that, he casts Major Image. At 120 feet. So this area up here, the dino cage, where is it wrecked?
It's kind of wrecked on the side here.
Okay. How big of an area? 20-foot cube.
So if Ishmael sees you casting, he will say, "Save your magics and run."
He says, "I'm trying to give cover so that we have time to." And he's still going to cast.
Okay.
And he will cast, kind of standing over top of this group here, the image of a T-Rex.
Okay.
And he'll make it look like it grew out of Valia. And he'll have it roar and everything like that again. And it'll just kind of stand in that area. I'll make like a little shape to represent it, I guess. Don't remember how big it is. Something like that. I think it's that big. Yeah, that's about right. I'll make it circular.
Hang on. Boop. I just happen to have a T-Rex.
It can't be out there. I can't see it.
Well, it's going to go there for now, understanding that it's one to the...
Oh, okay.
But so that others can get... Oh, you know what? I can just move it to the back. Hang on. To the back.
Hey, perfect. Thank you. And then Ulfgar will try to convince Flippy to get past the two of them and tell Aelia to start going and cutting the webs down if they aren't dropped. That's about it. He doesn't really have any place to go at this point, so.
Okay. Right. So Aelia starts yanking on Zagmira's stone body, and is pulling her statue kind of in this direction. So you see, like, she plants her hooves and grabs onto Zagmira's kind of statue and just starts yanking in this direction. And there's plenty of handholds because Zagmira is completely stone. So her robes, like, all 9 yards, right? She's all stone. So she's yanking. So let's see.
So while she's doing that, Ulfgar says, "No, we're taking her with us that way, not that way."
She says, not if you expect to get away. So she kind of shoves Vippy out of the way a little bit, and then she's gonna get Zagmira's statue kind of yanked 5 feet that way with that strength check.
That's a good strength check.
Yeah, she got.
Flippy will help her, like, if she sees her trying to move.
Okay. Alright, back to Arokh.
Just in time. Why is there that T-Rex token here?
Because you are now spectator mode in Minecraft where you're like you can see. So that's kind of what's happening. You're like you see. I don't think at that moment you would notice that that Ulfgar was casting, but suddenly this kind of T-Rex appears, but you're actually like on the inside of it, and it's like you're in Minecraft spectator mode, but on the inside of a T-Rex. That's how I'm going to describe it.
As they are interacting with it, they are probably very aware that it is an illusion.
Yeah, it's definitely an illusion.
And so we're going to glide forward.
Okay.
And Ulfgar had shouted for you to drop the web spell barring our retreat. And perhaps use it on those behind us.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Ulfgar did ask you to drop the webs.
Because currently we're all like burning and cutting our way through the webs now.
So we probably will be up here from this position.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, Arokh can burn all of his action as movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So we are next to Ulfgar. In that case.
Hey, the party's almost back together again. Hey, almost.
Almost, yes.
Where's Kellisto?
She's right here.
Direwolf Kellisto is right there.
Pupper.
Popper.
Okay. So is Arokh landing, or is he staying airborne?
He probably will land.
Okay. Alright. So, yeah, 3 of you kind of are back on the ground again. So Valia and Tobias, you would both have actions that you could take. And Valia first, really.
Okay. I'm push Arokh's mouth open so I can get out.
It's like the car door.
I mean, I would assume when we landed where we did, he probably spit me out, but if not, I'm just gonna help him. And I'm
dropping you on the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, what are we doing with Zagmira? Like, what do y'all? I see them moving her, but I'm like, I don't know if I can pick her up.
So you see Aelia is pulling Zagmira's statue out of the way. And this guy here he says, just leave her. We don't have time.
Okay, I'll yell Ulfgar, move, and I'll just shove her over here where Ulfgar is.
Okay. Alright. Yeah.
As
Aelia,
Ulfgar has tons of movement space, can I back him up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So
I can push up to 450 pounds.
make a strength
I guess
check.
that's the range.
Thank you, Zagmira, for becoming my new partial cover item.
Yeah, okay, no problem. So Zagmira gets pushed.
Would I still stay in rage? Well, I guess not, because he's a friend. Never mind. I probably fell out of rage since I didn't take anything that last round.
Yeah.
Shoot, I have 1 rage left, guys.
Alright, so you push Zagmira. Tobias, how about you?
I'm going to dispel the webs.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, so webs are gone.
And I'm going to cast them right behind Kellisto. Popper.
Nice.
Okay. Let's see. Do we have any cool webbing stuff? It helps if I actually search for web.
Go web.
Do I have any fancy pants web stuff?
Oh no, he's gonna start drawing a whole lot of lines.
Oh, that's not going to show up. Okay. The web I have is like very pale, so it's like you're not going to be able to see it on the web. Okay, perfect. Fantastic. Alright, so webbing in that area. Alright, then... So the T-Rex, is he just kind of standing there? Like...
He's just roaring in this direction ish, just kind of like roaring, looking around.
That's a lot of directions.
He's kind of like roaring, looking around, because I can't see over here. I know that there's stuff over here, and Callisto came from over there, but I don't know what's over there. I do know that there's more here, or up here, and I know that a gong came off probably somewhere in this area. That's about all I know. So therefore, I'll probably have it walk this way and then just look back to kind of defend the area, I guess. Give them something to worry about. No idea.
I had him walk towards the Triceratops so it would run back the other way and trample.
Well, it probably knows that there's a T-Rex again, and it's like, oh my god, there isn't a T-Rex. There is a T-Rex. I don't know.
Right. So that's good to know. So he's okay, but he is there for now. So these UNT, so these UNT are kind of gonna rush forward to attack the new invader that they see. This.
But they just don't give a crap about T-Rexes. Doggone it, it worked on everybody else. These guys they're like, no, we've got snake hands. We are.
Well, these
done.
guys have the ones that you. Well, can you see them from there? You might be able to see, maybe not. Maybe we should put one there. There you go. And that.
Just so I can see one.
There we go. Sure, like this. So they have serpentine lower bodies.
Okay.
And they are armed with scimitars. And the first one slashes at the T-Rex, and obviously his blade passes right through.
No, it lifted its leg. He totally missed.
Well, actually, I am kind of thinking he still probably should make an attack roll. Okay, yeah. So blade passes just right through, just whoosh, right through, and
it's a soft boy.
Soft boy. And he kind of, there's some kind of, you hear voices kind of shouting backwards and forwards up here. They've all kind of rushed forward, but are not, that's probably, okay, like this. So they attack the T-Rex this round. These guys are trying to, Triceratops sees the T-Rex again. This poor Triceratops.
I know.
And rears up again and starts kind of trying to move in this direction. But these two UNT try and grab it. It is wearing like a halter, So they're trying to basically kind of get a hold of this Triceratops before it causes any more damage to them or whatever. So they're dealing with that. So this does give you kind of a moment of pause. And then Ishmael says, quickly, follow me. And he runs off in this direction and stands here. And he's like, quickly, the others are coming.
Ulfgar would, upon hearing the voice, would say, I think this is the one Zagmira told us about. Go, go.
Yeah, he says, if they see me, I'm dead. Okay, Kellisto.
Well, maybe I finally catch up now.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure you could exceed if you wanted.
Do you want to take your... Oh, well, here. Where would you like to be? I wish this was a token. I'm sorry it's not a token. Because...
That's okay. Just right here.
Okay. Okay. There we go.
I don't know why, but this icon looks like a rug.
It is like the top-down view is a bit weird when everything else is like sideways on.
I think it's because it's actually supposed to be like a cube, and instead it's been stretched long.
Because direwolves aren't they large? They are large.
They are, but it doesn't. I'm just saying the image itself. I'm not saying the direwolves. That's all.
Okay. All right. I need to do a better job finding a token, is what you told me.
Looks more like taxidermy.
All right. So yeah, you come down here and find that I don't know if you knew that Zagmira. All of you now see very clearly Zagmira is turned to stone. Her whole form is stone. And there's a bunch of dead zombies in the corridor, and a Cheltenham man is down the hallway beckoning you to go with him. He's standing.
I kind of look at Ulfgar to see what he's doing.
He's like going, go, go, go. He's kind of like, first base coach,
Then I can move another 40 feet.
Okay. All right, so let's move you down there.
Lupine leaping.
Okay, so yeah, you're just kind of bounding forward over these zombie bodies. Yep, okay. All right, Ulfgar.
Ulfgar looks at Aelia and says, I won't be able to keep up. Can you bring me along, but behind everyone else, so I can keep this illusion going? Basically, he's looking to mount up on Aelia and have her carry him off because he's too slow.
Yeah. She says, just this once, Dwarf.
This will be the third.
Listen.
Actually, Aelia would call Ulfgar a short man.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Half man, right? Yeah.
Half man, yeah.
That's sure thing, half horse. Yes.
Okay, so you jump on Aelia's back with a little help from her. She kind of puts her arm down for you to kind of grab and gives you a leg up.
But he would want to make sure to not leave until everyone else has gone through.
Okay.
And that was the point he was trying to make, so he can maintain the illusion of the T-Rex.
Okay.
That's it. I guess. No, that's it.
Okie doke. And Aelia says to you, Ulfgar, she says, just trust me, okay? And she actually kind of takes a step over here with you on her back.
Okay. He gives her inspiration. That's what he's going to do.
All right, cool.
And I'll click it and then I'm done.
Okie doke. And I think that's all she's going to do for... Yep, okay. All right. So she does that. Arokh.
I have this dilemma.
What is your dilemma?
Thinking about webbing the friendly party, is that it?
No, because with a group that large, I'm not sure if we will be able to hide in this place. Okay, so Arokh kinda just shakes Tobias out of the of his back
Okay.
and going to move a little bit forwards.
Okay.
And he's going to turn to the party, and I'll try to hold them off.
Okay. All right. Valia.
I'm just like, well, we need to get out of here before they catch up to us. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go down here. I can get this pretty far.
Okay. As you get closer to this guy, you can see he has his eyes are like a snake's.
I just have my warhammer out. I'm like, whoa, hey. I'm like, why did Ulfgar tell us to follow you?
Hang on, Ulfgar's just getting back. Well, he doesn't know this, but anyway. So yeah, okay. So that's your probably your movement.
That's my movement. I'll hold my action. If something comes out of one of those corridors, I'll just attack it.
Okay. Alright, and Tobias?
I'm going to along the side with the rest of the party. So I'm going after Kellisto.
Okay.
We are party splitting. Dum 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 dum.
Alright.
Before that, shouting to Aelia and Ulfgar, go, come on.
Okay. So the UNT, so they kind of quickly figure out during this turn and last turn that that this is an illusion. And then they kind of make their way over here and start trying to deal with this webbing. You can kind of clearly see that it's webbing.
I don't think that guy's prone anymore.
You're right, he's not. Thank you. I would have been like, what is that? Okay, so that group's all going to do that. This group has finally kind of got the Triceratops under control, and they are escorting it back to its pen. Okay, the rest of them you can't really see what they're up to. And then Ishmael goes up the corridor this way, and yeah, you can't see what he's up to either.
Quick question: are those two guys pushing the T-Rex pushing the Triceratops towards the T-Rex?
They are, yes.
Okay.
Slowly. That's why you didn't move much. Alright, Kellisto, back to you.
Well, I guess I continue going forward. I don't know why I'm following him, but they told me to.
Okay. So you're going to follow
I'll
it?
just be right behind him.
Okay, follow him kind of around the corner. Turn you around.
Although it looks weird to me, and I sniff to see if they're like really close.
Okay.
Because I kind of recognize the room. And I kind of maybe like stop and then like just kind of dig in my heels. Turn around and be like kind of growling at him.
You're growling at this guy?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start growling at him.
Okay. His eyes get big.
Maybe I back up just a little bit.
Okay.
Because I know where he's going now.
Okay. Gotcha. Alright. Okay. Ulfgar.
Ulfgar's gonna have the T-Rex go that way. Walking around the snake statue and start just like slowly intimidating, like, yeah, basically, until that's as far as it gets, really. But just to kind of scare that poor Triceratops again, at the very least, because the other guys have seen through it, which he knew would only buy him like a round of time. And then he'd say, "Let's go." And why is Arokh on the other side of him? Here.
Arokh said he was going to try and... What did Arokh say? Nere?
I'm gonna hold them off.
There you
Go
go.
back.
Ulfgar says, "There's no time, let's go." And he kind of like does this and leaves it as it is, as best he can for Aelia to like get going. And he'll actually give inspiration to Arokh as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright, Aelia kind of looks at Arokh and kind of shrugs a little bit, like, okay. And then disappears. Oh well, you're going with her, Ulfgar.
Yeah, as they go by, Ulfgar kind of, whoa, I was moving him, and you like nab him.
Sorry.
He kind of like does a little pat on Zagmira's head as he goes by.
Okay. Alright, and it is Arokh's turn.
Actually, they dealing with the web, and they are not stuck in it, right?
They're not stuck in it, they're trying to kind of cut it and burn it away.
Arokh is going to try to intimidate the UNT.
Okay. How is he gonna do this?
Very big, scary roar.
Okay. Alright, make an intimidation check.
Is he going to vomit out a zombie?
That would be pretty awesome, but
That would be pretty intimidating.
maybe a baby zombie. Runs really fast. Let's see. Hang on. Those are those types. Let me see what. Yeah, they're fairly smart.
Well, hold on.
Oh, yeah.
He's got inspiration.
He does have inspiration if he wants to use it.
Yeah.
Is that? But hang on, that's isn't that a skill?
Oh, you're right. That would be skill check, not ability check. Okay. Yeah. You're
Sorry.
right. Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're right. And it's not a saving throw either. So yeah, that wouldn't work there. Sorry.
They kind of they yell it back at Arokh as a group. Like, a couple of them look slightly worried, but a couple of them are bolder and yell back at Arokh in a language that I don't think he would understand. In Abyssal.
Abyssal. Okay. He does not understand Abyssal.
Okay.
Chad has a good point. If that roar ends up being an attack roll, then maybe you get advantage or bonus points.
Alright.
Yeah.
Valia. You hear Kellisto growling from around the corner.
Yeah, I'll come in around the corner behind her and look. I'm like, what? Just look at the guy. I'm like, you better not be taking us into more of these guys.
Yeah, the smell of blood from the room up ahead is quite pungent.
Well, yeah, they've got a blood fountain.
They do have a blood
I'm
fountain.
like, yeah, I guess I smell it. I'm like, it's not.
They must have a great blood thinner.
They've got a blood magic
Maybe
altar.
it's just always fresh.
It's at least tier 5.
Alright, he's kind of got his hand out behind him, and he's leaned up against the wall, and he's like peering around the corner. You know, he's kind of like he's checking. So he's kind of like he's trying to like persuade you not to run forward at this moment while he looks around the corner.
Oh yeah, I'll stop right next to him. and just look at him. I'm looking back behind me to make sure everybody else, see if anybody else is coming with us.
Okay. I'd like you and Kellisto actually to make perception checks. Okay. You both hear quite a large amount of footfall coming from kind of this direction. Okay, Tobias.
Tobias will try to keep up with others. So he's going to run.
Okay.
Grab. Select move. Come on. He's going to run up the corridor, grab the corner, and he's going to probably tumble down onto onto Kellisto.
There's a growling wolf.
Wolf bum.
Okay. So
like what?
So Arokh can see the Yuan-Ti is still they're kind of making some progress through the web. Boop, boop, boop. We'll do this. But they're not completely past it yet. So Arokh can see that. Then this guy he runs in this direction and he pulls or actually I don't think anybody can really see what he's up to. So he runs off kind of round the corner to the right and you hear a chunk and then a crank and kind of metal sound. I think actually only Valia and Kellisto would hear this. Or maybe actually only Valia because it's not particularly loud, but it's just this kind of like hear like some gears working and the sound of kind of metal moving against stone a little bit.
I have a really good hearing, I think.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're with your wolf keen sense. Sorry, forgot about that. Yeah, so you can hear it as well. Okay. Alright, and it is your turn, Kellisto.
Eat him.
Well, I'm not. I kind of go forward and kind of, yeah, I'll go up to him. I'll of course check and see if I see anyone.
Okay.
Or hear anyone. And if I don't, I'll just go up to, cautiously over to him to see what he.
Okay. Are you being stealthy at all?
Yes.
Okay. Then could you give me a direwolf stealth roll, please? Okay, that works. Alright, so you're kind of going up to him like there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you do me a favor? Could you give Aelia a token saying that she's got inspiration?
Maybe. See if I can find a good one. I have no idea.
As long as it's not a big red X.
Oh.
That
Okay.
works.
So you see, there's a lever on the wall that he's kind of got his hand on. It's in a down position, and there's a passageway now open, kind of here.
Okay.
All right, Ulfgar. Anything you're doing while you're on Aelia's back?
Hanging on for dear life.
Okay. Right. She's gonna do. She's gonna try and stealthily kind of run forward. Please tell me I didn't close her sheet. Did I close her sheet? God damn it! I hate it when I do that.
Ulfgar is going to look over his shoulder though while he's doing it, in hopes that he sees Arokh coming along too.
Okay. You don't see him yet.
Could you repeat, Vallen?
He's looking over his shoulder in hopes that he sees Arokh coming along as well.
No, he's not coming along with him.
Well, as much as you and I both know that, Ulfgar still doesn't see the need for the death and sacrifice, because he doesn't know that there's no limitation on it.
Who told you that Arokh will be dying?
I think it was that one down there that's running the game. No, I'm kidding. I think it's the wall of all these dudes coming your way.
You will be surprised that I won't be spoiling.
Okay, I look forward to this.
Okay. Well, it is Arok's turn, so...
Spoil away.
And not yet, but because that will be on Tobias' turn.
Okay. Fair enough.
Then Valia.
I guess I'm just gonna run up like right next to this guy and make sure I'm really close to him and tell him, you know,
Excuse me,
we
Kashcah,
better hurry.
Did you just skip my turn?
Arok's turn?
Yeah.
I did ask what he was doing.
Yep. Hold on, Valia. I think you just started talking over Arok's turn.
Well, sorry, I didn't think he was doing anything. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
that was
she
my
told me
mistake.
it was my turn, sorry.
Vallen, we just did this because with Vallen, and you're just like,
Sorry.
next.
I distract.
How rude.
How rude.
I do a
indeed.
distract.
How rude indeed.
Alright, what is Arokh doing?
He's going to unleash his breath weapon
Okay.
in 30-foot cone.
Okay.
Like this. Why there's so many things won't work? Like this. Okay. Good enough.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That looks good enough to me.
They get dex saves, right?
Yeah, that's safe.
Oh, they just burn.
They just burn. What kind of breath is he using?
That will be fire.
Okay.
Bye web.
Oh.
Let me just check the DC. DC should be 13.
Alright, they're gonna go left to right. That one is fine.
Okay, DC is 12.
Okay.
So they taking half damage.
And then, hang on, I've got this guy back here as well. Boop. And then,
Come on.
Wow.
then the two. Hey, these guys aren't puny, all right?
They're not like zombies with no dexterity.
Do I not? I don't have it. Oh, hang on. I gotta find the brute cards.
Right. Brute cards.
One moment.
These dudes.
Those dudes.
Those
Here we
dudes.
go. Brute card. And then they dex save. And dex save. There's two of them, right?
So they all passed.
They all pass, but they all do take half damage.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so I will be adding that to them. So that's... Okay, so yes, he sets the webbing on fire and does a bunch of fire damage to everybody.
And he's going to fall back.
Okay. Okie doke. Alright, now Valia. Sorry about that.
I'm just gonna run up next to the guy and tell him, you know, wherever you're taking us better be safe. And tell him to hurry up. That's it.
Okay. He just kind of shoots you a bit of a glare. Then continues. Yeah, he's kind of waiting. At the moment, like this portcullis right here is kind of raising. It's almost all the way up. Alright, Tobias.
Okay, I'm so far behind.
Run, Forest! Anything you want to do?
Actually, I'm not nothing I will be able to do.
Okay. Alright, so these guys are going to make more progress on... Oh, that's a bit of web that I just moved. Damn it all.
Oh, Well, I think the web's gone anyway.
Okay.
I'm not sure if all the web will burn
In one round? Probably not.
I think that some of the web will burn, but not all.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Okay. So that's all you see for activity. Okay, Ishmael says, "Quickly, follow me." And he disappears kind of around the corner.
Poof.
And into this room here. And you can see a hallway. Like that.
Do we still have a turn order? Oh yes, sorry, I minimized it. I found
No worries. Right, Kellisto.
I will continue to follow him.
Okay. So you're gonna head into the hallway.
Yeah, I can go. So I could probably go in a little bit further.
Okay. He is so.
Depends on what I see.
Yeah. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Right.
The open mouth of a giant snake.
Pretty good, right? There. Right, and before you freak out, let me describe what you see. Let me move this out of the way. Alright, so a fountain of cool water bubbles on the floor ahead. It's scented like it's a very feminine floral scent of kind of lilies and maybe a little spiciness to it. Fills the air. It's quite the contrast from the room that you just came from, where it all smelled like blood and guts. And silken drapes drift lazily in the heat. There are archways in the wall, in each of the three walls, and there's cushions kind of like scattered around this room. And lounging on some of these cushions are some very scantily clad humanoids with eyes like a snake. Kind of like the guy who you're following there. They are there. Yeah, they are. You can kind of see, like, you can't see it so much on the guy that you've been following, but you can see on these folks, because they have a lot less clothing, that there are kind of scaly patches down their backs. And you can see kind of a little bit into kind of this room here as well. There seem to be some more folks in this room, and there's a kind of haze. You can see actually what looks like kind of a hookah or a bong in this room on the floor, and it's got kind of these very ornamental pipes kind of coming off this thing, and there's this kind of slight haze of extra smoke coming from this room. There is a curtain across kind of this archway over here, and this archway over here, and he is this guy is actually probably be like here, is quickly talking to these two Yuan-Ti here, and when he sees you, he points at this curtain over here.
Okay. I will go in that.
Okay. So this room. Oh, hang on. Let me get this. Hang on 1 second. I need to move something.
So I'm pretty sure I can get to that doorway.
Yep. I agree. So this room is like this. And you just see in this room is empty of any kind of Yuan-Ti or people. And There's again, it's just kind of covered in these very luxuriant, like big size kind of floor cushions, and there's drapes and silks hanging from the wall, and it's very gently lit. And thank you very much, Dragons ate my breakfast. So that's kind of what you see in that room.
Okay.
So I'll put you over there. Okay. Ulfgar.
Hanging on. He's pretty much just going along for the ride until she lets him down or sets him down.
Okay.
Because he doesn't know how long he's going to need to keep going. Gotta go fast, you know.
Okay. Let's see. So Aelia, will move quickly through here, and Ishmael is kind of like ushering you through into this kind of chamber here. So she will kind of quickly make her way in there as well, taking you with her, Ulfgar.
Okay.
Okay. Arokh.
Could you remind me if I used Brave Weapon in previous session? Do you remember?
I think...
Because I don't.
I think you... Didn't you do a line down the corridor, I think?
Oh, yeah, I did. Right before... Ulfgar turned Valia into T-Rex. Yeah, I did. So that will be second, so Arokh is basically spent.
Okay.
No more stomach bile.
No more.
Oh, no more.
I wish he had spells.
At a higher level, maybe.
Okay, Arokh kind of will try to intimidate again Yuan-Tix.
Okay. Is he going to stay where he's at to do that? Or...
yeah.
Okay. Then make an intimidation check.
Rats.
Instead our roar, there's a cloud of smoke.
Yep. Yeah.
He couldn't remember if he could do it again or not, apparently.
Yeah, so he's a bit like you said, he's spent from all his
pretty much.
Yeah, all his activity. Is he gonna stay there, or is he gonna do a move as well?
Okay, seeing that he's going to back up into the corridor where our rest of friends went.
Okay. Okie doke. Alright, and Valia.
So I'll run the same way that everybody else went.
Into the bathroom!
And I'll look around. I'm like, what is going on? I mean, I'm badly injured, so I'm just gonna go with where he's going.
Okay, yep. Yeah, he's kind of pointing over there, and he's kind of got one arm like pointing to the curtain while he's speaking rapidly to the other, the Yuan-Ti that you can see here, and he's trying to you can see he's got one hand up and he's motioning to them. Speaking to them rapidly in a language you don't.
Got a traffic cop for a helper here.
Okay.
Everyone pile into this room. Now
And
let me
Tobias?
just pull this lever. The floor drops away.
Yeah, I'm going to follow the crowd.
Okay. This room is getting crowded pretty quick.
Why I'm on the Centaur's back.
Alright, so Arokh can't see what's going on with these guys up here anymore. But what he does see is this door down here opens up.
Uh-oh.
And outpour a bunch of Yuan-Ti.
Tell me you took that evolution that he blows up in an area when he dies.
Rude. So they see him and they start kind of rushing forward.
I could almost dispel Arokh. That will be an ultimate troll on Yuan-Ti.
So they see him and they start rushing forward. And yeah, that's probably all you can see. Yeah, so you do hear like these Yuan-Ti up here. They're talking back to the guy that you've been following, and he's, you know, having a conversation with them. And while he's talking to them, he kind of comes over here and draws the curtain. You know, there's these lovely big, like, kind of heavy silk curtains, and he just like draws them shut. So you're all in there, and cannot see what's going on. But you do hear kind of a lot of Yuan-Ti kind of conversation going backwards and forwards out in this room here.
Ulfgar starts casting a ritual. It'll take him 10 minutes. If he drops it, he drops it.
Okay. All right. Right. So let's. Well, Kellisto, is there anything you want to do?
I'm gonna turn back into myself.
Okie doke. Where is your token?
I like your direwolf form. That came in real nice.
Me too. I kind of want to stay in it, but you know, there's not a lot of room.
Okay. So boop, Kellisto returns. Anything you would like to? Because I think that's a bonus action, right? So any actions you would like to take?
I think I'm gonna go ahead and cast Pass Without a Trace on all of us for now.
Good call. Okay. Fantastic. Alright. And so let's just so Aelia is going to bunch herself up as tight as she can and stay as quiet as she can. Ulfgar, how about you?
He's still on her back, and he's just gonna stay there because he doesn't know if they're gonna bolt. He's gonna try finishing his ritual spell.
Okay. All right. So then down to Arokh. Clown's to the left of me. Joke is to the right. Here he is, stuck in the middle of Yuan-Ti.
There's plenty of options I see here. I don't know about you. I see lots of options. Lots of options.
Hang on. Run.
Run!
Okay, he's going to leap for this one Yuan-Ti.
Alright, okay,
It's a good option.
Alright.
And
Pounce.
There's one thing that I overlooked, Kashcah.
Alright.
With Arokh's attacks. There is where is it? Multi attack.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I just read Lyssa's comment.
Yep.
I thought it was poop. I'm gonna poop a healing pot, and I'm like, what? Poop on the healing pot.
Lay it on him. Multi-attack.
Plus, let me just find this. Yes, I don't want to attack. Eidolon can do 2 natural attacks with their multi-attack if he uses a natural weapon. So claws, tails, bite, and so on and so forth. 2 natural attacks at level 3 and 3 at level 5th.
Okay, so then he's got 3.
3 natural, 3 multi-attacks.
Okay.
And he goes haywire on this guy.
But
Okay.
does he have snakes for hands?
What, the guy that he's fighting, or
No, Arokh.
Arokh does not have snakes
He's
for
going
hands.
multi-attack.
What's the guy that he's fighting? Hang on, let me
His
tell you.
Snake
If he's-
hands have hands.
He does have snakes for hands.
Hey! Snaky hands.
Okay, so he goes for bite.
Okay. Hang on.
He still has
That hits.
inspiration.
Yes, that hits.
He does.
Second attack.
That does not hit.
And 1d8 because this inspiration will be wasted.
+5.
That does hit. Ta-da!
Bye-bye.
And he's going to finish with tail slap.
Biting and slapping Jimmy Snaky hands.
Jimmy Snake is. Yes, that hits and does 8 damage. Okay, and doesn't he have to do a thing?
Yes, he has to do the hokey pokey and turn around.
Because that's what it's all about.
The tail slap
Yeah.
actually converts him to his own cause.
I thought. Okay,
Spins
no.
him.
Alright, so 1d6 points of
Tail slap of
damage.
conversion.
Okay. Alright. Got it. So that guy takes a bunch of damage from 3 Arokh attacks. Okay. Then over to Team Harem. What does Valia do?
I'm going to pop the regular healing potion. You see me rummaging through my bags. I'm like, I know it's in here. I know it's in here. I'm like, just like whispering to myself. I am going to pop the regular
Teleportation
healing-
circle.
Okay.
Will be the best option.
Fresh out. Our barbarian is fresh out of teleportation circles right now.
Alright, so
Yeah, you see me look and I just hold it up like cheers and I chug it and I'm like, oh, that's all. I think, and I'll just ready an action in case somebody. And I don't know if I ready an action in case somebody comes in. There might be some one really angry rescuer. I'll just wait. Sit
Okay.
in the corner and be quiet and not say anything. And I'll hold my finger up to my mouth like to Flippy so he'll stay quiet.
Flippy sits down very quietly and looks at you very intensely, like, oh. Okay. Alright, Tobias, how about you?
I try to patch myself up.
Okay. You have a heal kit, right? Do you still have a heal kit?
I spent all my second level spell slots. What I do have? How much I do have for the first level? Hang on. For the first level, I have 4 more.
Okay.
I'm going to. Why is my character sheet so small? Hang on. It just shrank itself. Cure wounds on myself on first level.
In the sauna room. Okay. So then you
Cure
want
wounds on level 1.
to
What?
Hey, cure spells all work best as cast as the lowest level. It's just immediate gratification and satisfaction for getting a little bit more by spending higher slots.
It's double when I burn it on the second level slot.
Yeah, but you were like under pressure, and now you're in a nice calm room with a bunch of sweaty adventurers just chilling.
All right.
This is going to be This will be haunting me for the rest of my life.
All right. You want to are doing stuff and things. So, let's see. The first one kind of appears around the corner here. Bop, bop. They're moving in. Oh, that was a bit of. Okay, that can. That was a bit of drawing. That one cannot occupy the same spot as like.
Oh god.
The foreshadowing.
They're moving in. Okay, and okay, so these two get attacks. So the pure one.
Oh boy.
It's going to scimitar attack Arokh, and I think that probably misses.
Let me check again. Then then it misses.
Okay, they do get 2 attacks. So.
Okay, that hits.
Okay.
Oh, he's at 11.
Then Mr. Snakes for hands. It's going to do. He gets 2 bite attacks, 1 for each hand. So there's the first one.
Oh, that hits.
And the second one.
I think the first one took him.
Okay. The after first bite here, Arokh gets disassembled.
Okay. So now they're going to. So. Oh, go on.
I wanted to do a trick. He's dead. No.
I don't know, your fire breath when they all gathered up to hack at spider webs was pretty good.
I agree. That was super handy. What? So they are going to make a collective perception check. Because how we've played it, like, every time that Arokh has died is that he has turned into mist, and that mist has swirled back to your gauntlet.
Did it go through objects is my question.
Okay. So that's a number, and we will see what happens with that number. Okay. So let's, for now though, let's break turn order. Yeah, we're gonna do this. Sorry. What? Uh-oh, I ignored something that Vallen said.
I had asked, did the mist previously pass through objects?
Pass through objects.
So in this case, like, would it go through the wall or would it just go down the hallway?
I don't recall it passing through objects, but I'm also not clear on, like, whether it had an object pass through previously.
I don't think it did.
I think it might have. The very first time that Arokh went to 0 was way back in that
We were in a cave.
Crocodile, the statue with the crocodile.
No, I think the first time was when we were in the cave and he was outside holding off the Terrafolk.
Oh, yep.
And he popped and we were all around the corner in the cave. I don't know if he came through the cave wall or not, though.
I don't think it goes through walls. But we'll see if they are adept enough to follow this or not. Wait, in the cave with the Hydra, like 1 or 2 episodes ago, it had to pass through a wall. Did it really?
It did. But there weren't any walls between.
Alright, anyway.
The harem.
The harem. So, what are you guys doing?
Casting.
Okay.
So after 10 minutes, Ulfgar do something different unless
like
something
where-
interrupts him.
So those yellow lines got knocked. That was the dirt wall, though, and that got, like, knocked down when people decided to, like, climb through it instead of...
Yeah, it didn't get fully built.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, so in the harem, what you guys up to?
Harem nanigans.
So, Ulfgar is casting something. At some point, Ishmael will come and stand. He just stands kind of close to the curtain, or he sounds like he's standing close to the curtain. You can't really see what he's doing. But he says, he kind of whispers through the curtain to you, saying, I will try to keep you safe for as long as I can. What happened to Zagmira?
Ulfgar kind of elbows Aelia because he's still casting.
In case you didn't notice, she's turned to stone. There is basilisks, and they're jerks.
That's they're large jerks. Instead of being large monstrous beasts, they're just large jerks.
Yep.
They were
large. He says, oh, go on. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say that I whisper, shh. I cast the quiet thing. Don't be loud.
Okay.
Come on.
At this, he kind of like, you don't hear him anymore after that.
Oh god. Sorry. Come on, Discord.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, we're losing people. They're rejoining. Discord's being rude. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And we are back.
Sorry,
we
Kellisto,
managed to-
you're a puppy.
You know, we have yet to defeat the major boss, Discord.
Yeah, seriously.
Pillar up party. Pillar up good time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Oh gosh. It is dying slowly. One second.
Oh!
1 second.
Oh!
Oh crap. Did Discord just completely crash? It just completely crashed. That's great. I'll be back in a minute, folks. Don't mind us. Jump back over here. I'm going to be a mouse for the rest of this stream. Don't mind me.
Okay.
It's just how it works.
Okay.
It just works. We like the tower.
Yeah,
It works.
except when it doesn't.
Callisto was powerful in her persuasion to tell us to be quiet.
Right.
Yes.
Alright, so who was saying... Okay, but before we were so rudely interrupted...
I was just telling everyone to be quiet.
Okay.
Discord's like, got it, it shall be done.
Okay. So, yeah, you don't hear anything from the other guy, the other side of the curtain.
There we go.
He does as he's told and stays quiet.
I look at Callisto and I'm like, I get real close to the curtain. I'm like, can you heal her? Can you turn her back to Zagmira? I mean, she's annoying, but I mean, man, stone, that's rough.
Like pumice?
Oh, bad joke. You, sir, shall die.
Seriously, that was terrible. That was terrible.
That was the last joke he ever told again.
So, I don't know. Negative 1 out of 10, seriously. That's being generous. What about, well, anybody doing anything before Ulfgar finishes casting, so we can finally learn what he's been casting?
I did ask him if he could fix Zagmira.
What, Ulfgar? He'd shake his head.
Oh, the guy in the curtain.
Okay.
Oh, okay. He says, I am not a magic user.
Join the club. and I just sit back in my corner and be quiet.
What are you talking about? You used that magic warhammer pretty good.
So a few more minutes pass.
Comprehend languages.
Ah, okay. So he's doing a ritual casting of comprehend languages?
Yep.
Okay.
And Ulfgar says, really quiet. Actually, he would use message to talk to this guy so as not to make any more noise and allow the guy whatever movement he wants. But he would say, my name is Ulfgar. We met up with Zagmira, and our intention was to come in here and destroy the necromancer Raz Nassim. You can reply to this message.
That's over exaggeration.
He says, you are foolish if you think that you can take this whole temple head on like that.
Ulfgar responds, I'm open to suggestions.
He says, we need to stay quiet. He says, no doubt they will be here to inspect the area. Do you have anything that can help hide you?
I can put it
I
in.
look at the bag of holding and I'm like, no.
Ulfgar is responding with message saying, is he responding just via message with this, or is he actually saying these words? He can respond up to 25 words. So.
Yeah, if he starts, it's starting to become more of a conversation, so he's kind of like, it's like he's sitting down outside the curtain, just talking through the curtain to you.
Ulfgar says, the magic spell that was cast by Kellisto will help. I can create a magical barrier that might obscure some vision, but then people will see something obscuring it there. This is the most we have.
He says, you made a T-Rex before.
I can create illusions.
He says, can you create
I just
another one?
I'm like, that was fun.
Yes.
You can't hide yourself in those illusions?
It's not quite as good as that. I can create more or less or something, but if I try to overlap it on people, they start to move. I can't keep the illusion moving fast enough with them.
He says, do you have anything that could make you look like a Yuan-Ti?
I happen to have a Yuan-Ti disguise kit in my pouch. No, I don't. Ulfgar says, but one of us may. And he looks over at Kellisto.
I can be a pet, but I can't be Yuan-Ti.
She can turn into a snake.
It's true.
But she doesn't speak Abyssal.
Do any of the women have pets? I could be a pet.
He says, well, that will help for you. Snakes are easily welcomed in this temple. He says, but the rest of you?
I just look at him, I was like, look at me, I kill things, I'm a jerk. Does that help?
Helps lighten the mood for me. Alright, by the way, the Comprehend Languages spell is not concentration and it lasts for an hour.
Okay.
And before he finishes, Ulfgar's stone shape would turn back to normal dwarf. Or half-man, as some might say. Ulfgar says, I could try to make a massive snake like we saw covering the entire area we occupy, but one wrong step and a foot sticks out. You understand.
He says, maybe, he says that, or maybe something else big and stationary.
Tobias will cut in. We did not reconsider one thing.
What is this?
We came here for the cube, right?
Zagmira's got it. Oh.
But Zagmira had all the cubes.
She has one of them, at least.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't recall us giving her the rest of them, just the one that she already had, if not two.
Okay, so we can make a trade.
But she's stoned.
Yeah, but we have the rest of the cubes. And Rasnasi have the last that we need. At least that we think we need them.
Ulfgar looks over at this new person and says, "What's your name?"
You're looking. He's outside of. He's like the other side.
Okay.
Of the
He asks him what message.
He says, "My name is Ishmakal."
Ishmakal says, Ishmakal, Zagmira didn't tell us what we needed the puzzle cubes for. Can you?
He says, he's really puzzled. He says, "So you have all of the cubes, but you don't know what you have them for?" He sounds like he's just really confused.
We understand they're a key, but we don't know what for. Zagmira had some of them. We have the rest.
He says, as far as I know, they're a key to the tomb beneath Omu. Says, not this temple is nothing.
Right.
And what's inside this tomb?
He says, I'm just trying to think about like how he would describe it. He says this tomb carries all of the answers that Zagmira was looking for. He says, this is all I know.
Will we need to defeat Rasnasi before we'd be able to get to this tomb?
He says, you need all the cubes. He says, and he says, I know Rasnasi has one.
Right. Well, do you know of any magics that are stored in this underground that might help return someone from stone? Obviously, they have basilisks among them. Accidents may have happened. Do you know of any way that people have been turned back?
He says, absolutely, the Yuan-Ti have the ability to do this.
Just automatically they can undo a stoned person.
He says they have magic users amongst them as well. Just like you do.
Right. Right. It's possible then that they've captured Zagmira, turned Zagmira back from stone, and are questioning her right now. Or torturing, or both.
He says that is very possible. He says, are you sure you don't have any way to hide yourselves? He says, I feel certain that they are going to be here soon.
My spell, as long as everyone's quiet, will let us pretty much stay hidden for up to an hour.
What I could do is make this room appear as if it's empty.
He says, that is perfect.
And with her combined spell, that would allow us to perhaps elude capture. If only for a short time.
He says, that is perfect. He says, yes, they will only want to look around, so we just need a brief moment for them to look in this room and see nothing, and then they will believe you are not here.
Right. Well, I have limited uses and it only lasts for up to 10 minutes. We'll have to rely on you to let us know when.
Okay. He says, of course.
So then everybody stay still. We wait for them to finish their search and then we'll have a better chance of moving about. Are we safe from those that you spoke with in there?
He says, yes, they are under my control. Well, mostly.
Magical control?
He says, no. He says, one of the ones I spoke with, she is called Nima. She has a secret that I'm using to buy her silence for now.
Right. Very well.
The others will follow her lead.
This is good to know. What was it?
Ishmael, yeah, I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you. Ishmael, you have our gratitude. For now, we shall take a short rest until you tell us that I need to cast the spell.
Okay. So anybody have anything they want to do while you're kind of lying hidden in the depths of the harem?
Breathe as little as possible.
No,
That's
not
a little
unless it's
healing
a
word.
short rest.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I would burn some of the hit die
Okay.
to restore my health.
Hold on 1 second here. Ulfgar might have something to help with that.
Okay, fair enough.
No, that's a song. He's not going to sing a song right now, sorry. So, yeah. Doggone it. Noise being a problem.
And I'll be preparing a ritual to bring Arokh back. But I'll be cautious when if something goes wrong and I have to cancel it.
Okay.
How long does it take?
10 minutes.
Okay.
So yeah, probably. Well, actually, probably a little more than 10 minutes later. So, you're going to bring Arokh back right away?
No. I'm going to prepare and I'm going to holding it until I'll be ready to summon it or dispel it.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
If needed.
Okay. So not too long after, there's a great kind of, well, not great, but you definitely hear like footsteps. Like there's a lot of kind of movement the other side of the the other side of the curtain. And Ishmael says, now, cast your magics now.
He cast.
And he says, stay very quiet, please.
He stays very quiet, please.
And
No, very quiet, please.
You hear Ishmael's voice talking to some other kind of deeper voices as well. They're speaking in Abyssal again. Oh, you hear? Okay.
If my passive perception of 18 can hear.
They ask Ishmael, did you see any other intruders? And Ishmael says, no, of course not. He says, it's just, there's no way they could get in here unless they knew, and we can't get out. So no, there's no, no danger in here. And he's the voice is kind of getting closer as they're talking, and he says, the other voice says, well, we know there are more than the one that we killed, and we have found the one that the basilisks took care of, but we know there are more than that. And Ishmael says, oh, there's nothing to see here, and he kind of pulls back the curtain to the room where you are and says, look, this is empty, we're all here, and then drops the curtain again, and his tone changes to one of he's trying to be extremely friendly and perhaps a little romantic, and says, but while you're here, perhaps you'd like to stay for a while. And
he's a gigolo.
And he's kind of like, he's talking very softly to the other voice, and the voice says, oh, there's no time for that.
That wasn't a no, though.
and there's some more movement, and then there's kind of the crank that you heard previously, and kind of that's the end of that interaction that you could hear going on. So.
Ulfgar keeps the illusion up as long as he can, which is for 10 minutes, unless otherwise needed to shut it off.
Okay. So
that would be another spell burn.
then Ishmael returns to the curtain, the other side of the curtain, and he kind of draws it slightly and just sees kind of everybody crammed in this room, and says,
there's an empty room.
Okay, doesn't see he says, is everybody safe?
A little dwarven hand comes out of the suddenly two-dimensional image.
He says, we must make a plan. He says, and he's talking in common now. He says, we must make a plan. And he kind of draws the curtain a little wider, steps through, and draws it shut behind him.
Okay.
And he's kind of like very wary, like he's looking around, and he's like, obviously has no idea where anybody is sitting or standing or anything like that, so he's not quite sure where to put himself, so he's just kind of standing as compactly as he can so he doesn't step on anybody accidentally. Mm-hmm. And he says, what is your intention here?
Defeat Raz-Nasim and obtain the Soulmonger.
He says, how do you intend to defeat Raz-Nasim? Says, you say it like it's such a simple thing. Says, but you have only seen maybe a third, a quarter of the forces? He says, and some of them are much stronger than others.
Ulfgar says, well, there's this thing called experience, and as you obtain more of it, you level up. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Ulfgar says it's our mission, our quest to quell the lands of the undead, and this being the source, we must crush it out. And he kind of looks at Aelia with that.
She gives you a very you are totally right, Ulfgar nod.
Many have underestimated our abilities, and we may look haphazard, and often are, but we tend to come through in a pinch. Don't get me wrong, we're not attempting to underestimate the foe we face, but we'll do what best we can.
He says, well, I don't know how I can aid you in this.
We need Zagmira and her puzzle piece. At the very least, her puzzle piece, but I would prefer to have her intact as well. I don't like losing people.
He says, well, how do you suggest I help with this?
Keep an eye on things for that.
Keep an eye on things for that. Can you perhaps be more specific? He's getting like a little bit testy with you.
Ulfgar's kind of looking to the rest of the group for ideas, because he's kind of like, I don't know how we got in this situation to begin with. Where is Rosnasi's chambers? I don't know.
What's that?
Go ahead, Tobias.
Oh, finally. Let's do this like proper way. First and foremost, we need to know the exact layout of the temple. Secondly, we need also all the regimes and daily rituals that occur at this temple. So we have slightly idea where things are at the exact time of day. Can you manage that?
He says I can help you with some of it. He says, but I am not trusted by Rosnasi, so I cannot share all the secrets that this temple has. But anything that I know, I am happy to share with you. Especially if it means that that Zagmira will be returned. He says.
Okay, go on.
He says. So you've seen the main cathedral out there. He says. Behind that, he says, is basically like a preparation chamber. He says this is where the sacrifices are made. All that blood you saw, that's that does have a source, and yes, he says that's filled from the sacrificial chamber behind that. He says off of that sacrificial chamber, he says, I believe is a prisoner's is a room where they keep the prisoners. He says, I've never seen this room though, so I cannot tell you what it looks like.
Okay, we came from that way. Ulfgar, do you have this scribble that Zagmira?
You scroll down. It is
Let me see if I can
right here, down by the giant snake room. I'm pinging on the map right now.
We came from the flooded cave.
He says, I have not seen this part. He says, I am not allowed beyond the Venom Distillery or the storeroom. He says, that's as far as I've got.
Okay, so to fill you in, we break up through the storeroom. We still haven't got a full plan of the temple.
He says, so Azimas is dead?
We may have, yes.
He kind of raises an eyebrow.
It was rather quick. Ulfgar looks to see if there's any love that he shows for the loss of this snake.
No, he just kind of...
Okay.
He just kind of... It's more of a interesting kind of look, you know.
Okay.
He says, as far as rituals, or routines of the people here, or the Yuan-Ti here, he says, most notably, he says, the first thing that you're going to encounter is almost every night, Sekalok will visit this harem. He says, this is the secret that I hold over Nima's head. He says, Sekalok is Raznasi's champion, he says, and he is quite in love with Nima, although Raznasi would not approve, he says, but he will visit this chamber tonight to seek Nima's companionship.
Interesting.
He says beyond that, he says sacrifices are brought in through the front gate on a regular basis. Some of them are kept prisoner for longer. He says others are dealt with and dispatched right away. He says, I believe to the south of us is somewhere in that area is some kind of room where the Yuan-Ti bathe. He says, that is quite disgusting. He says they are also bathing in the blood of the sacrifices. He says there are many slaves who work with the Yuan-Ti, and they are caring for them in these baths. There's also, he says there is a sauna somewhere in that area where the Yuan-Ti go to shed their skin.
Ulfgar would interrupt briefly and say, have you seen or heard talk of a dinosaur man and his companion with a beard, Artus and Dragonbait, they go by?
He says, no, I have not, but prisoners come in every day.
He lets him just continue on.
He says, there's also in that area are the nests. He says, this is where the Yuan-Ti sleep. He says, they don't all sleep at the same time, though, as you can see. He says, while some of them are sleeping right now, he says, although maybe the gong did awake them, as it did me, he says, others will be seeing to the temple's rituals while the others sleep, he says. I have been to the audience chamber, he says, which is directly northeast of here. He says, through the double doors you saw in the cathedral, probably. He says, during the daytime, Raznasi keeps audience there, and he kind of like looks slightly disgusted at this thought. And he says he keeps audience in this chamber. He says, and Sekalok will be in that chamber with him at that time. He says, along with some other bodyguards. He says, I also know that Raznasi does have his own bedchamber off of his audience room. He says, but I don't know where that is. He says that is a secret door. It's hidden somewhere in the walls of the audience chamber. He says, but during the day, Raznasi will be sitting on his throne in that chamber, listening to whoever wishes to speak with him. He said, and at night he retreats to his bedchamber, and occasionally is visited by some of my companions here in the harem. He says, but mostly not, especially not lately.
Okay, that will be enough. One more thing. Who is approved to have audience with Raznasi? Anyone wishes?
He says, yes, he speaks with many different people. He would speak with you, most likely. Although, perhaps it would have been better if you'd entered by the front door for this. He says, if you want to speak with him. Says, but if you want to, perhaps try a different route to getting his cube, then perhaps this is the better way to go.
Okay, tell me more about this champion of his.
Sakalov?
Besides the fact that he just comes here, do whatever pleasures he likes.
He says he is Resnasi's trusted bodyguard, and he is evil and cruel. He says you will find him...
More about his fighting style, how he operates.
He says, he points at Valia and says, fights probably similar to this one. He says, except with a sword. But he is very, very skilled with this sword. He also has some
burn on Valia.
Some magical, abilities as well.
You say
he is very strong.
You say he comes here during the night, and Raznasim retires to Raznasim's bedchambers during that time.
Yes.
Therefore, Raznasim's without a bodyguard during this time.
He says this is true.
What about the audience chambers during that time?
He says, well, when Sakalok isn't here, he says he does return to the audience chamber to sleep there. He says, and there are some other Yuan-Ti bodyguards, probably similar to those you have already murdered.
So it's not just going to be an empty chambers during that time?
No.
Right.
Okay, so we have okay, this is totally out of character. We have a couple options. Either we go and try to sneak out of the temple and try to enter the right way and have an audience with Raznasi. That's an option A.
Though we've been seen by several of them. I don't know if that's going. And we
probably will be able to pass without a trace
through the main gates
with Kellisto. No, maybe through the back door, the way we came.
Okay. Go on.
However, we can. This is a very, very risky option that we can go and subdue this bodyguard of Raznasi and make quite a risky deal with him. If you know what I mean.
Nope.
Risky deals.
You mean like without like telling Raznasi that his bodyguard is sneaking off to the harem type deal?
Pretty much like give him a proposal of this, that we kind of get him and his lover out of here, or we just go straight murder him and go for Raznasi that way.
If he's a rather strong bodyguard, I don't think that it would be a quick and easy murder him option.
Come on, there's 6 of us.
He says, he will not be expecting you here, that's for sure. You have the element of surprise.
Yeah, but what about you?
What about?
You'll be in danger as well.
Also, I don't think that his girlfriend would take kindly to us slaughtering her boyfriend. And therefore, there would no longer be any harem to keep at bay. Sorry, you were saying not in character, but then we kind of jumped back in character, so I don't know. I do have an interest in attempting to get through during the night, but I don't see how we would do it without causing further alarm. And seeing an audience, I don't know what we would talk about. You've got a puzzle cube. Can we have that and give us access to the depths below? That'd be nice. Thank you. Oh, by the way, you're a necromancer. We want you to die for good. I don't know.
But we are not sure if Rasnasi possessed the Soulmonger.
He's the most likely candidate.
Ishmael will say, he does not possess the Soulmonger. He says, Rasnasi thinks he is way more powerful than he is.
Right. So do you know who has the Soulmonger?
He says, that is the answer that Zagmira was looking for in the tomb below.
Do you know where the entrance to the tomb is?
I do not.
Ulfgar says, well, either we ask permission, and he looks over at Aelia and thinks, that's not really going to be a thing, or we try something stealthy and slightly underhanded, or any other options? Ulfgar's like kind of looking around the room.
Ishmael says, one more thing you should know. He says, there are several teleportation circles in this temple.
What?
It says there's one right over there. He kind of points like the other side of the curtain. He says, I'm obviously not skilled in magic, but Rasnasi uses them to move around the temple. Says, there's definitely one in the audience chamber. He says there's definitely one in the cathedral. He says, I imagine there's one in his bedchamber as well. He says, but I don't know if those are the only ones.
So, outside of game, I know how they work. Ulfgar might have seen something about that with Valindra, but I don't know. Should I roll an Arcana check or something to see if he understands how that works?
Yeah.
Okay. Where is his character sheet? Yay, +0. We got 4. Basically,
Tobias?
Here's what I know. Or no, I shouldn't say it because I might skew other people's stuff. So go ahead.
Well, I mean, teleportation circles are not they're not unknown, right? So, I had the DC I had in mind for it was 5. So, I think Tobias would know enough to know how teleportation circles. I think also Ulfgar would probably know as well, but just doesn't quite remember right now.
Yeah, he's like, I know that they're activated in a special way though, that are specific to the people that use them, or I don't know if they have a locket or they do a certain jig on it or whatnot, but I don't. It's nice to know there's teleportation circles, but I don't know how we'd move around with them.
Tobias knows that you could, if you're standing on one of these circles, you could kind of use your arcane skill to trigger it. And that it doesn't have to be one specific person or a specific thing. It's more about doing the right kind of incantation or hand movements, while you're standing in the circle.
So they just have to know the right process to follow, and then it'll be used by anybody.
Yeah, and you know that you could potentially figure this out, by just by kind of process of elimination, right? You could figure out looking at the circle while you're doing a kind of arcane chant or arcane hand movements. You would be able to see which ones empower it, so you could see if what you were doing was working or not. But it would take some arcane skill to do so.
I'm not touching any of those things. maybe you, and he points to Tobias, would have a better clue. I would hazard to say that Zagnira would probably know. But do you think that we'd be able to get one of those things to just teleport us right into his bedchamber? Or is each one connected to a different spot?
Ishmael says...
Probably assume that they might be intertwined.
Like a network?
Yeah. Ishmael says, from what I've seen, he can use them from any location. That they're not connected specifically to one location isn't connected specifically to another. He can use them with great flexibility.
Have you ever seen Raznasi?
He says yes, of course.
What does Raznasi look like? Does Raznasi have multiple forms?
He says Raznasi looks like a Yuan Ti.
I thought you were going to say a handsome Chilton man. I'm like, oh shit.
No, he says he looks like a Yuan Ti. He says he has a great serpentine body. He says, and he wears a blue triangle on his forehead.
Right. Is he known to carry or use any specific magics?
He says, of course he has spells. He's a necromancer.
What ones have you witnessed?
He says, mostly day-to-day things. He says, but you hear stories. You hear stories of people dying based on his touch alone.
Right. Don't want him to touch you. Got it. Right.
He says, and of course he can bring those people back to life then.
I would assume as undead. And
Tell me, did he succeeded lately with resurrecting people?
He says, no. He has not. He says he can raise the dead, but not resurrect people. He says that's no longer life when you're raised by Raznasi.
Do you know of anything that Raznasi is partial to, or has perhaps a weakness for?
He says he is rather fond of candied grung eggs.
I happen to have 6 of those in my pocket. No. Candied grung eggs.
He says, but he wields a long sword that seems to have some magical properties to it as well. Says, I have never seen him use it, but he does have it.
Right. Death Touch likes eating grung for breakfast. Has a magical longsword. And a bodyguard that is at least considered to be Valia's equal in combat. Ulfgar says, alone, we might be able to take him. In this mass of snakes, I don't think we've a chance. We need a plan. I have no gift for such a thing. I thought I had once, but they all seem to crumble.
And then he would have a chat with his champion.
What would
He
you
Do you
says,
want to jump him when he comes in?
Probably.
he says,
We need a plan.
he says one more thing to note. He says, another exit from Rasnasi's audience chamber is to the underground river.
Wait, there's an underground river and an underground chasm? Tomb, rather?
Wait, what?
There's an underground... Oh, wait, Oh! Wait a minute. Underground...
The body of water that is where the Hydra resides.
Right.
He says,
You mean the one with the Hydra in it?
Yes.
And Ulfgar looks at Ishmael and says, the one with the Hydra in it.
Ishmael kind of like, yeah.
So directly across the room from us is just a room with no entrances or exits besides the one straight across, and it's a circle room.
Wait, what? Sorry?
Look up the map here. This room here. Is that the room with the circle in it?
Nope, it is over here.
Okay, what's across this way?
He says it's a room just like you're in now. There are no exits from there.
Right, okay. And in here is a circle room and...
There's a teleportation circle. He says otherwise it's the same as this.
Right, okay. 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 So there's no exits except for the jails, or the bars that we came through. And the circle.
And the teleportation circle, yeah.
So we could use the circle to attempt to try and get into his chambers. You said he's got one?
And then what? And then what?
And then we jump him. Ulfgar's like, this is the best plan I've got so far. He looks to Aelia and says, have you ever slain a necromancer before?
Oh, Ulfgar, you're short in height and you're as that bright.
He says, hey, I'm all about relations, not breaking them up, alright?
Ouch. Tobias is cutting deep.
I was a diplomatic courier before this. What did you expect of me? Come on, then. I might have been a scout in the military as well, but I never really fought face on into combat and never was part of a Black Ops team to try and take out any commanders of strategic positions.
Well, we might not have to take him out if we search the room while he's in his audience. We can at least get the cube and go.
Holy shit, that might work.
Do we have an idea what time of day is it?
You think it is approaching nighttime, although it is difficult to tell because you cannot see daylight. But you're pretty sure that it's like the end of the day.
Ulfgar says it's 6:34 p.m. What do you need? I'm kidding.
Okay, so there is no time for a long rest. And not enough time to go and let Kellisto do a quick scout of the place if needed.
Ishmael says, I could keep you hidden here probably for a day.
That would be helpful. That would also be difficult for you.
Yeah, but we probably miss our chance to have a date with the champion of Rasnasi.
He says, trust me, he will be back tomorrow night. And he kind of looks like, oh god, I wish he wouldn't. But he will be back tomorrow night.
Hey, I'm not king shaming.
Sounds like we could get a long rest.
I'd be up for that. What of this thought of using the circle to get into his chambers, like you said? Would that... Do you know if it connects directly to his resting room?
He says he has to have one in there. I've never seen his bedchamber though, so...
Well, if we could verify that he's not in there, perhaps Tobias could get this thing working and send Kellisto through as something insubstantial, or just go with her, or we all go in there for all I know. Do a quick rough and tumble of the place, trying to see if the cube's there, and if not, we lay in wait for him to retire and jump him then, maybe, or talk to him. Sure, he'd love a conversation in his bedchambers. I could silence the room.
I say that we stay overnight and then we try to get into his chamber while he's in the audience room. At the very least, we find the box. Otherwise, we could jump him when he shows.
What of the bodyguard? Would the bodyguard follow him to his retirement chamber?
He says no, he doesn't allow anybody in there.
What do you think, Tobias? Do you think you'd be able to get that thing to work to get us in that room? I'm grinning really big right now in case you didn't know.
I'll see what I can do. There will be no promises, as always. But
so
dealing with the champion will be our best shot.
in what way?
Either if we, it'll be the best shot. Either if we kill him or persuade him to do our bidding.
I think we might have a better chance of persuading. Because like before, if we off the guy, then Ishmael loses any advantage of this harem location for us. Do any of these teleportation circles go outside?
He says, I'm not certain, but I don't think so.
What's the direct route through the front from here?
He says, you saw the hall with the giant serpent statue?
Yes.
He says at the end of that hall is a portcullis, and beyond that is a short tunnel to the surface.
I've got an arrow pointing at it right now. Is it here where the trike is?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a portcullis.
Yep, there is a portcullis. There's like, yeah.
On the other side of that is what?
Is a short hallway to the surface. Or a short tunnel to the surface.
Alright, so I think we need to make a series of plans, should things go awry. But we also need to involve Zegmira.
And we have no idea where they took her.
Where might they take Zegmira?
He says if they are able to turn her back to flesh, they'll probably take her to the sacrificial room.
And
either that or the prisoner's quarters.
The sacrificial room is basically north of the Blood Fountain.
Yeah, he says it's directly north of the cathedral.
Right. That puts a kink in the plan.
He says, you should also know that there is one more Yuan-Ti you should be concerned about. That's Fenthazara? Hang on, let me make sure I'm pronouncing it. Fenthaza? Sorry? Fenthaza.
Okay.
Yep, just like that. He says she is Rasnasi's second in command. She is a Yuan-Ti, and her quarters are directly off the hallway between the entrance tunnel and the sacrificial room. It says...
so right here.
Yeah, somewhere in there. And he says, the last thing, he says, they probably wouldn't be of any consequence to you, but there are 3 Yuan-Ti priests who also reside, in a room off the sacrificial chamber.
And I'm assuming that they wield clerical magics.
He says, yes, something like that. He says, I'm not very familiar with magics, but one of them will probably be the one to try and bring Sagmira back to flesh.
Ah.
He says, I've heard they have a pool that grants visions.
That's nice. What kind of visions?
He looks kind of really curious about this, actually, like it's something that he's curious about.
Right. Visions. Ulfgar's not impressed by that and more concerned about...
He's like visions of the future.
Okay. That's usually...
Go swimming.
Oh yeah, I remember last time we went swimming. Turned out great for me. So we've got 2 objectives. One is to get the puzzle box from Rasnasi. 3 objectives. Crap. The second is to get the puzzle box and hopefully Sagmira. And the third is to find the entrance to the underground tomb, of which we don't even know if it's connected into this underground area. Do you think, and he's talking to Ishmael at this point, do you think that the underground tomb even has a connection to this underground city of Yuan-Ti?
He says, I don't think Rasnasi knows how to get into it.
Does Rasnasi know where?
He might, he says. Not like I can really go and chat with him about this. Hey, Rasnasi, do you know where the entrance to the tomb is? The tomb with the super powerful stuff that everybody wants.
Yeah. Right. So we're gonna have to come up with a plan.
We've come full circle.
They have to come up with a plan.
Yes, it's a start somewhere. So bribe the bodyguard to do what?
To help take on Rasnasi, or eventually retrieve all the cubes.
We should just take him out.
Well, Ulfgar says, wait a second. What's the likelihood that this bodyguard of Raznasi would be able to become the new leader of the Yuan-Ti?
He says, you're much more likely that Fenthaza would become. He says, from the stories that I've heard, Fenthaza was the one who performed the ritual on Raznasi to turn him into a Yuan-Ti. He says she is much more likely to take over leadership and might even be persuaded to do so.
Now this sounds like an interesting dynamic.
Why then she's in the second in the command?
He says exactly the point.
Is this a patriarchal society type deal where...
He says, no, I think Raznasi has been, overall was more powerful than she was because, being a necromancer, he says, but I see it in her eyes. She is questioning his leadership.
If you were her, in what circumstances would you deal with such betraying outsiders as us in order to assume such a position over Raznasi?
Wait, say that again, sorry.
Basically, he's trying to think, like, how would we approach her? Because at this point, just, like, let me just walk up to her as a dwarf and say, hey, how do you feel about taking over as the new boss of the Yuan-Ti? We just want the puzzle cube, the wizard that you just got, that wizard's puzzle cube, and left alone, and any information you have about where a secret hidden crypt tomb thing is. Just seems like a lot to ask, but I see how we might be able to convince Sakaluk to side with Fenthaza, and perhaps we could weaken Raznasi and then they overthrow, or the reverse. They could blame us for the intrusion but let us escape, therefore not losing face amongst their followers. But I don't... we need too many things at this point. We need 2 puzzle pieces, a stoned wizard, although we've got a stoned wizard, but we need to get an unstoned wizard, and potentially the location of the underground tomb. I think we might be able to work out some kind of dynamic. I don't know if Ishmael will be able to manage as much of this as some of the rest of us may. But, this is too much for an old dwarf like me to try and figure.
Let's just focus at one thing at a time. It's either go get the cube from the chamber, or it's go get the, what's her name, Zegmira.
Ishmael says, if you were to remove Raznasi, it would create a power vacuum of a sort that I think you could use to your advantage. I think the dwarf is right in this regard.
Done.
Perhaps we could offer to trade Fenthaza, the wizard and cube, for said power vacuum.
Or we could just go create it and then watch the chaos ensue.
True, but where do we hide while that chaos is going on without them all just coming down upon us?
Oh, I don't think we even necessarily will have to. We can create the power vacuum and go get Zegmira.
We'd have to wait for them to turn her back. I don't have such an ability anymore. The magics in this charm the Oracle gave us is exhausted.
I'm sure somebody can be persuaded.
Or if we time it right, perhaps they'll turn her back for us before we even do any of that.
I'm sure they're going to want to interrogate her, so they'll turn her back while we're busy sleeping or, killing the guy.
Ishmael agrees. He's nodding his head while Kellisto's saying this.
What, that we just assume that Segmer is being turned into a human again while we're killing or attempting to kill Rasnasi?
While you're sleeping, right?
Oh, quick question for Ishmael. Why would Rasnasi be upset about Sakaluk coming to Hanky Panky Palace?
He says this is his harem, not Sakaluk's.
Oh. Well, what about Fenthaza?
Fenthaza is not interested. He says Fenthaza is a nightmare speaker. She has a lot more,
Nightmare speaker.
he says I wouldn't call them more important, but she is consumed by this.
Right. So then why don't we take the advice of Tiberius here and... Tiberius, sorry. It's been a long day. Why don't we take your advice and have the... and we convince... Let me look at the name. Sakaluk to turn the other way, stay out of sight, and they'll likely be able to stay with their preferred mate at the harem with the overthrow of Rasnasi, and perhaps he might be able to get people to leave that area as well, so that in case, we do make some noise, it's clear. He's able to convince Fenthaza to go along with it. We take the wizard and their belongings and leave. Where did all the teleportation circles go again? That you know of? Let's see, bedchambers, the harem.
Sakaluk.
Sakaluk.
So he says he knows there's one in here, just over there.
Yep.
He knows there's one in the cathedral, right? One here.
Oh yeah, I see it. Okay.
He says he knows there's one in the audience chamber.
Okay, so there's one somewhere in here.
He says there's probably one in Rasnasi's bed chamber. But I think those are all the ones... Yeah, those are all the ones he knows of. He thinks there's at least one more, maybe more, but he doesn't know.
Okay. So, Tobias, if you can figure out those things, we could use them to escape, cause a large distraction or something in one area as well. Just trying to think of how we get out. Best way is probably straight south out the back door, I would think. Or if we've got a clear path past Fenthaza's place, out the front.
That probably will be covered after our ruckus.
I agree. Do you know what's in this room down here, down beyond the main area?
He says that doorway leads to the bloodbaths, the sauna, and the nest area.
That's a bad direction to go. Front door is probably better.
Or we can use this secret exit in Rostas's chambers. If we manage to find it on the time.
He says, I don't know if there's an exit from the chambers. He says, all I know is from the audience chamber there is the exit to the underground river.
That's what I'm referring to.
Oh, okay.
Then I
He says,
think that's our best. I think that's our escape route then. The river. Yes, there's a Hydra.
Yeah, and at least we know that it's there, and we'll be ready, and
We'll need to fly past.
we can deal with the Hydra.
No dealing with the Hydra. We fly from the Hydra. We'll probably be severely weakened after a battle with an experienced necromancer. With powerful magics at his side. Still, I think it's our best route for escape.
Yeah, and for the time being, we'll need to rest.
Aye.
he says, well then perhaps that is the best for now. You rest, he says, and I will see what I can find out about where Zagmira has been taken.
Excellent. If you can also find out about tell us when Sakaluk was likely to show up. It might also be best if you speak on our behalf to stay away during a certain time.
He says, no. He says, I will not be speaking on your behalf in this regard. He says,
Right.
the only thing I have saving my life at the moment is my cover. He says, I'm sorry, but I won't give that up on something that's so risky.
Will you come with us when we're done?
He says, yes.
How?
He says, I will at least escape this place.
Right. I will do what I can to send you messages through walls if I can. To let you know when it's time, if there's a break of our communication.
So it's okay.
Right.
And Ulf goes asleep.
I'm sure we're going to be doing guards at this point.
Okay. So Ishmael says, regarding when Sakalok is expected, he says, I would expect him within the next hour or two, really. He says, so, I don't know if you can do that magic again, Dwarf, but if not, stay really quiet. He says, I will wait until after he has departed, and then I will seek out Zagmira.
My magics only last for 10 minutes. He looks over at Kellisto. How about yours?
1 hour. Let me see if I can do it again.
How long does he usually take with his mistress? 5
He
minutes.
says, how long is a piece of string? It depends on his mood.
Right.
Yeah, I could probably cast it again when he shows up.
Okay.
Okay. Alright. He says, I'll stay here and try to be an obstacle to him coming close to this chamber, he says, and hopefully he'll just be distracted enough with Nima to not think twice about it.
If it gets dire and he decides to have a look, I can cast it one more time. But
Okay.
like I said, it's a very limited timeline.
Alright. So are you setting up a watch?
Yep, I'll take the usual last watch. I'm assuming with Aelia.
Okay. Yep, she'll agree to that.
Who's on first watch?
I'll take the first watch, since it sounds like he'll be here.
Okay.
Please.
Okay, so then I'm taking the middle.
Excuse me.
Valia, are you taking a watch? Are you still there?
No, I can take the first one.
Lots of non-barbarian talk going on.
Yeah. Lots of talking, no much.
Excuse me.
Okay, so Kellisto and Valia on the first watch. Tobias and Arokh, or Tobias and... Or just Tobias, hang on. Anybody else?
Just Tobias.
Just Tobias
right,
on the middle
'cause,
watch.
And
then...
and Flippy.
Tobias and Flippy. And then... okay, got it. Alright, so yeah, you can all kind of settle into this area. It is very comfortable, actually. Very comfy cushions. This is the softest bed you've slept in for a very long time. The only bummer is that it's kind of cramped. But yeah, there's the kind of smoke from the hookah just wafting over in your direction, and yeah, lots of kind of soft noises of the harem chatting, and sure enough, Kellisto, during your watch, like hour and a half later, you hear the kind of crank of something mechanical, and the slight kind of grind of the metal on stone, and then bold footsteps going forward, and Ishmael says, "If you have any magic to do, now is the time to do it." And he's just whispering very softly.
I immediately cast Pass Without a Trace.
Okay. And immediately you hear a woman's voice in a language that you don't understand, cooing, kind of. It's very kind of loving tone, you know, and returned by, you know, a male counterpart who you can only assume is Sekalok. And there's some chatting, and then there's kind of a lot of movement. You hear like a kind of snake, like snake slithers, and then you hear a curtain being drawn, and then you hear, like, you know, this is kind of like over the next like 10-15 minutes. Then there's lots of giggling and all kinds of sexy time noises. So
I just look at Kellisto and I stick my tongue out and shake my head like,
I look at her and I'm like, ugh.
Now you know why Ishmael's like, oh god, every night, really? So Sekalok stays there probably for about an hour total. You know, and there's kind of like, you know, this silence kind of grows over the harem chambers. And then after about an hour, it's kind of almost the same but in reverse, you know, like he, like, you know, there's some giggling, and you can hear him kind of whispering almost, and it's very like Romeo and Juliet kind of thing, you know, and except you want tea style, you know. So
I'll lean over to Kellisto real close and whisper, like, I really want to go kill them when they're in the middle of funny.
I bite my tongue because I want to laugh.
Yeah, so it is, yeah, I mean, any other situation it might be quite touching, but being as they're evil Yuan-Ti, maybe not so much. But yeah, not too long after that, he does leave, and so you hear again kind of the bold footsteps walking away from you, the sound of the portcullis raising, and then Sekalok leaves the chamber.
All this in the span of 1.5 minutes.
No, it's more like, yeah, it's about an hour total that he spends there. And then, not long after he's left, the kind of gentle chatter of everybody else in the harem kind of returns. It's just kind of background noise, basically, of the other occupants of the harem. Snoozing or smoking or drinking and eating, that kind of stuff. So, and then so the rest of your watch passes without incident, Kellisto.
Whoever's next, I tell them that the guy came and went while he was gone, literally and figuratively.
I giggle. I was like, man, y'all, I don't like you guys right now. Y'all didn't have to deal with what we just had to deal with. It's disgusting.
Okay, so then Tobias, you're on the next watch, and Ishmael whispers to you, I'm going to leave you here, he says, and see if I can locate Zagmira. And then you hear kind of soft footsteps away from the curtain.
Okay,
And they sound like slither,
sure.
slither, slither.
I'm not very sure what to do, but I'll be ready with my weapon drawn.
Okay. All right. So
So you're keeping watch with chatter.
just like murder them all. Let's do it. Let's do it. Says you could kill them while they're sleeping. There's lots of like persuasion. In fact, make a will save.
Oh God.
Wait, is it will save anymore? Is that
For what?
Sorry, hang on.
It's up to you.
Hang on. Is that a
Wisdom save?
Yeah, wisdom save. Sorry. That's what I was like. I know it's not called will anymore. I couldn't remember what it was.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Great.
Okay.
You're like, I didn't plan for this. Okay.
KGM?
So you find yourself standing up and you stepping carefully over sleeping Kellisto and sleeping Valia. And make a stealth check, actually. Okay. Let me see. Kellisto, who has, oh, I wrote them down. That's handy.
That's a perception.
Yeah. So actually, Ulfgar,
Yeah.
you are awoken by movement within the chamber that you're in.
Okay. Opens one eye very gently.
You see Tobias standing at the curtain with his sword drawn.
He uses whisper to talk directly to him only, and says, "Are we in trouble? Are we under attack? Shall I wake the others gently and quickly?"
So Tobias, you just feel compelled to basically murder the folks, the Yuan-Ti who are in the harem. You feel like killing them while they're sleeping is the best solution ever.
We will not be safe here with all those Yuan-Tis here.
We realize this. If none are coming,
We might dispatch them right in here.
that's tomorrow. That's during the day. We're going to do that. Yes. Just not right now. Just not right now. Remember, you're stronger when you've got your magics. I understand the lust for it. They're evil. Calm yourself.
Now is the time.
Make another wisdom save. Okay. You feel that urge kind of subside, and Ulfgar kind of, for once in his life, makes a little bit of sense.
He says, hold on to that rage. Use it when the time comes.
Yeah, perhaps you're right.
Ulfgar decides to switch his watch to the rest of when this is up.
Okay.
And then leaves Aelia to cover the last watch.
Yeah. So before the end of your watch, Ishmael will return and says, I have found Zagmira. He says, we can talk in the morning, but I have found where she is.
Is she flesh?
Yes, she is.
He actually gets a bit happy about that. He just kind of gets a big grin, looks over it at this over here, and then just kind of like worries a bit, and then just goes, okay, good. Yes, go to sleep, lad.
He says, she may wish that she wasn't, though. And that, I think, is where we should leave it.
Oh. Hopefully next time folks will have better camera. Sorry about that. But hey, sometimes you can't help it. Anyway, thanks everybody for coming out for another edition of 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons Tomb of Annihilation. Tune in next time to find out how we're all going to die. Yet again.
I'm going to murder everyone.
Yes! If not, you're at least going to get us all murdered.
I'd rather die by cursed blade than gross slithery snakes.
You're a lizard folk. It's not that far off.
Oh, no, it's way far off.
Oh, and also, thanks, real quick, to, there it is. Hold on one second. It's still loading up. Thanks for the sub, Dragons Ate My Breakfast. We'll see you guys next time.
And, hang on. Yeah, thank you for the bits.
For the bits, yes,
Yeah.
from Larry. Thank you again.
Thank you for the bits.
Have
Fantastic.
a good night, everybody.
They're like end of session bits.
Indeed.
End of session bits.
Survival bits. Right.
Survival bits.
Bye, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.